Hello, everybody. Hey, guys. You guys on YouTube, if you can just let me know if you guys can hear me okay. If you're seeing me okay, please let me know what's going on. Good night, everyone. It is 8:30 Eastern on a beautiful Thursday night. What's up, SC? It's been a long time. Jay Carey, how are you doing? It has been a long time. All right. Thank you, Tyler. All right, we are on. You know me. I don't have a topic per se, so we can just talk. I do have a few things. I made a list of a couple of things. Oh, Tyler said I spelled night wrong. No, I did actually spell night correctly. That's what I wanted to spell night. But thank you, Tyler, for correcting me. Hey, Exclusive, how you doing?
What's up, O? What's going on, man?
I'm good.
I haven't seen you in a minute.
I know. I think I'm gonna move to every other Thursday because I think every week is, it's a lot going on. Events. My wife is working now, so I got to do more, stuff with the kids in the evening. So I think every other Thursday, and then maybe I'll mix in a random stream in here and there. I think that's the best balance. But I will schedule these in advance, so you do know. So I am here this week. Ooh, funny enough. Let me just set out the schedule now. I am streaming this week. I cannot stream that Thursday, the 24th, because I will be traveling for work that day. So you know what? I will send a message out through YouTube on letting you guys know when the next time I'm streaming. I will definitely let you guys know. Hey, did you guys hear the news that Dr. Foster's and Smith is shutting down? I just saw that on Reef Builders like earlier today. Thank you, mostly Reef. I'll be doing dishes while listening in. That's my thing. I'll be doing dishes after I finish streaming. But yeah, Dr. Foster's and Smith is shutting down. Live Aquaria, I guess the fish part of the business is staying open, which is kind of interesting because I think we saw news that Petco bought Dr. Foster's and Smith. Yeah, that's kind of, yeah, I literally saw this. I put a link in the description of the video, so you can check that out. I think it's the first link. But yeah, Reef Builders posted today that Dr. Foster's and Smith is shutting down, but the live aquaria part of the business is staying up. So I know the other day, like a couple of months ago, I mean, we all got some crazy deals from Dr. Foster's and Smith. I guess that was kind of a sign that maybe they were trying to clear inventory. I do SEO for a living, so I look at sort of like the traffic potential of Dr. Foster's and Smith. And personally, I think they could be doing a lot better, but that site is really, really old. For instance, look at on the live aquaria side of the business, look at that. I think they have the best little chart for comparing like fishes and what fishes are compatible with each other. But look, it's literally like an image and it's so small, you have to, and I wear glasses, so you have to line that thing up yourself. So, yeah, sorry that it is shutting down. Reef Keeper has a question for the experienced SPS keepers. His colonies are starting to grow into each other. And I have to say, Phil, every time you post a photo, I get jealous. I get really jealous. Your tank is looking awesome. So it says, my colonies are starting to grow into each other. A few acros have been getting STN on the tips. I frag off and it seems okay. Can it be from coral warfare? Don't know. You know what? I am going to, hey Phil, I am going to text Greg Carroll and see if he can answer that question. See if he can jump on. He's the person I know who can ask. All right. Yeah, texted him. So when he answers, I'll let you know. What's up, Fishy Snowman? What's up? I think I saw OG's Fish Room a little bit earlier. There is the link if anybody wants to jump in. Hey, Greg. Oh, so he says 100%. Yes, Phil. There's Greg is in. 100%. Thank you, Greg. Thank you. There you go. Just going back to a quick rundown. The AI Prime Fuge Light. I think I spoke about this on I think Dave's stream, where Aqualumination is releasing a refugium light, just like the Kessel. It's going to be the same thing as the AI Prime HDs, $209. It's going to be 46 watts. I am excited about it. Hopefully I can get my hands on one to test, where I can compare it to my Kessel, to the Kessel I'm running under my tank. But love refugium lights, love testing them. Every time I get my hands on one, I've been using my Senai to kind of look at the spectrum and then comparing them to the gold standard, which is the Kessel. So I'll be interested to sort of add that one to my analysis, of different refugium lights and which one is best. Hey, Alex, how you doing?
Oh, not bad. Just, I'm in the middle of putting away Order of Coral.
Hey. All right, we're going to want to see those soon. I think a new Zeovit reactor. Guys, I'm into equipment, so if you guys don't want to hear about new equipment I see, then you guys can let me know. But I was running Zeovit 2 years ago, and I have to be honest, while I thought it was a lot of work and it wasn't very convenient, I think Zeovit is the best. I had the most success reefing when I was on Zeovit. But the thing I hated was the little bottles and pumping that reactor every day, especially when I had to travel. And I saw today that Bulk Resupply released like a Skimz Zeovit reactor, which apparently it has a pump that automatically flushes and tumbles the Zeovit. And I guess it's not as loud as the other one that's on the market right now, but that'll be interesting. I don't think I'll go back to Zeovit, but I think it eliminates one of the most tedious parts of Zeovit. And I guess the last thing I just wanted to mention was that I guess most of us has probably heard or watched that Neptune live stream from a few days ago that the Trident is going into testing. I am excited about that. I got to be honest, I was a little bit skeptical. I thought, I just kept hearing excuses. So I thought this wasn't going to happen anytime soon. So I was pleasantly surprised that Terrence said, hey, we're putting it out to testers. So we have production models. We just want to test them before we release them, which definitely good news. Pricing, we got the less than $600. So I guess it's $599. And from what I got from the stream, the Neptune system stream, it's going to be about $20 a month in reagents if you want to test 2 times a day. So expensive. That is expensive. Expenses. Dave said the Trident will be this generation's DeLorean. I mean, $600 for the device plus $20 a month. Now you have to think that's more than what the average reefer spends to maintain their tank in a year. That's expensive. So I think I heard Terrence mention that if you buy in 6 months, there'll be bulk discounts, but $20 a month is kind of steep. It's not going to deter me. Not going to deter me, but that is steep.
That looks like cherry corals.
Cherry corals. Oh, from Alex?
You are correct, sir.
You just got some of their life cell?
I got like 25 pieces of live sale / after live sale stuff.
Oh, yeah, I just got my order today too.
Am I the only one that's not getting corals?
And oh, what's up with that? Not buying corals?
Listen, I have been messing with the tank too much, and I feel like I give that excuse too often. So I don't think it's time to put corals in. So not yet.
I got an order from Aqua SD coming tomorrow.
Oh, I like those guys. I absolutely like those guys. I think most of the Euphili I have been from Aqua SD.
The problem with cherry corals, well, one of my bags came open completely. The frag plug was basically without water, but it's doing good. It survived. But they don't label any of their bags, so unless you really know what you're getting, if you get like 25 pieces, like Alex, I'd be like, what the heck is what? You know, I only got like 6 or 7 pieces, but they don't label anything.
I know most of what I'm getting. Sadly, I'm pretty good with memorizing my orders.
People don't realize that Alex has been like doing this for a while. He is very like, but at one point, Alex, I think, worked in an LFS for a while. So Alex, you see Alex, and Alex, you know, is calm and cool, but he knows this stuff. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing.
I've worked in LFSs. Jeez.
Wait, LFS is multiple? I thought it was only one.
I don't count the first one as much. I had disagreements with the owner, and I kind of told him I knew more about saltwater stuff than he did, and he didn't appreciate that.
All right.
This was like really early 2000s when you know, all he liked to do was order like tons of Gonapora and wall hammers that were like 1.5 feet across, but they all came in horribly.
Ooh.
And I used to be like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't order, you know, like 4 boxes of Gonapora, because at the time, nobody really understood how to take care of green Gonapora or Alveopora, and he wasn't happy about that.
Can't say that to the boss, Alex.
He was more interested in money than the animals, and that was our disagreement.
But the animals, keeping the animals alive equals money, right?
Well, we also sold birds, snakes.
Oh, okay, all right.
There were other fundamental things. It's a fun story, but it's a long one. It's for another day. We'll talk on the phone for that one.
All right.
But I would say if something didn't come in, because I know Brett and Todd from Cherry Corals really well, because I used to work with them, and I would, if something didn't come in right, I'd just let them know right away. They'll make it right.
All right.
Yeah. I emailed Brad right away, and I told him, I said, you know, and I mean, like literally within like 10 minutes, he responded back, and he's like, yeah, he goes, you know, just keep an eye on it. If it's not good, just let me know. I'll refund you. I'll get you another piece out. And they're like, I've ordered from them from other places now recently, from TCK Corals and all that. And let me tell you, man, I received like an example, a Nevada, the acro, and it had so many polys on there that I was able to frag 6, you know, like doubles, into 6 different frags, which was awesome.
Hey, exclusive, you have my number. When you get a chance, just send me a picture of the photo of the tank. I just want to see how the tank is doing. I don't think I have seen your new setup. Is that all right?
Oh yeah, I'll send it to you.
All right.
I'm just fighting right now like green hair algae, but I'll text you in a little bit the latest video of all the acros that I got, or the ACANs and all that. I mean, you've seen most of them. I sent it to you already.
All right. You know what? Send it again. All right. Send it again.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
All right. I got a question from Reef God. How's the bubble tip doing? They are doing freaking awesome. Yes, very, very awesome. Reef God gave me some bubble tip anemones from my little bubble tip nano that you can see right here over my shoulder. Yeah, they're doing awesome. Bubbled up and everything. Awesome. Love them. And somehow when I put those in, all the other anemones just all of a sudden became happy. So everything is bubbled up. I don't know if they're enzymes or whatever those anemones. So thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. I think Reef Keeper got his answer. Someone asked me, do you have the H380? Oh, yes, I do have the H380. And that's when I'm running over my little refugium, the Kessel H380. And for the most part, I am happy with it. The one thing, well, the few things is you have to really, when you have a small fuge, you have to acclimate your corals to it, because I think 10 inches under the middle, I think I measured the par at 1,500 par, which is nuts. So before I got my Chaeto to grow, I had to acclimate my Chaeto very slowly to the Kessel H380 because it's not dimmable. You can't turn it down. So I started with 1 hour a night, 2 hours a night, and slowly worked my up to, so I think I'm running it 20 hours a day now. So Reef Keeper said, I'm not getting the Trident. I don't see the need. Not yet anyway. Yeah, I can see that, man. It's $600 plus $20 a month. That is steep. Very steep.
For someone that tests alkalinity every couple of weeks, so I don't think I would get it right away.
Hey, you have a calcium reactor, so yeah. Jason Chow said, you're scaring me, Reef Keeper. You've seen how I have them clusters next to each other. I think when we're new, we all glue corals close together, not trying to make the tank look full. And then a couple months later, when they've grown, we realize we made a big mistake. What up, Biz? Long time no see. What's good? Biz said he's not buying corals either. I'm going to let the tank settle and then do a big order somewhere pretty soon and then fill the tank. That's my plan. Right now, I just started doing caulk to sort of elevate my pH, and I have to say it's working. Greg recommended the Tunzi calcium dispenser, which is basically like a kalkwasser reactor from Tunzi. And I have to say that I love it. Like right now, Greg, at this point at night, my pH is sitting at 8.11, which let me go back. Let me look at my apex. My normal pH at this time would be about, oh man, I got to go back, would be .79. That's a 0.3 swing. Loving it. Absolutely loving it. And what I am going to do is dose a saturated kalkwasser through the calcium dispenser. That's through the auto top off. And then whatever needs to be made up after that, I'll do Triton. And then do periodic water changes.
Wait, can we see it? See more, or is it too late?
It is. It's basically just a bottle. You know what? I'm sitting at a computer with a fixed camera, so I cannot.
All right. Because I was thinking about doing that. I was thinking actually like just stirring some kalkwasser and let it kind of settle down, and then just kind of sucking out the liquid, you know, and putting that in a container and dosing that.
Well, give me a second, exclusive. Let me go get a container. I'll be right back. All right, I am back. So there's two ways I've done kalkwasser dosing in the past. Now the third way. I've put it in my auto top off, which I didn't really like because my evaporation changes from season to season when I wasn't using a chiller. So that didn't work too well for me. Then I used it on a dosing pump. Now, I made this. This is a Voss bottle, plastic Voss bottle. You can get the parts from BRS to make your own dosing container. I think, by the way, this is too close. If you can see, the dosing container doesn't pull from the bottom. In fact, I would probably cut it shorter. But you can mix kalkwasser, like fully saturated kalkwasser. Just put whatever it is, like half or quarter teaspoon, mix this up, let it settle for a day, and then put this on your dosing pump and dose like 3-4 mils per day. This one I was actually dosing Triton. You can see it says 3A, 3B Triton on this bottle. That's why it's so close to the bottom. But if I was doing calc, I'd probably keep it, let's say, an inch off the bottom. And I did that for my Nano for months, and it kept, between that and water changes, it maintained my parameters. I just put a dosing pump and said, hey, dose 1 mil every half an hour. So there's a few ways you can do it, but American Reef channel has a video on the Tunzi calcium dispenser. It's the Tunzi calcium dispenser 5074. I'll make a video eventually, but I can't sit here and promise you that I'll have it out in the next day or two. But if you look right behind me, you can see it. It's literally just a bottle that you connect to your Tunzi osmolator, and it you put some kalkwasser in the bottom, and every time you pump water through it with your auto top off, it mixes the calc in the bottom and it doses saturated calc from the top. It's a really simple process. I was surprised. I thought it was going to be like something really complicated, but it's really simple and it works. Absolutely works. Hey, what's up, Carlos? Thank you, Carlos. Did I miss any question? Did I miss any questions? Biz says, a friend of mine gave me a nice geocalc reactor for programming his Apex. Ooh, geocalc reactor. Oh, that's the one with a pump. Ooh. How do you like it, Biz? Are you gonna run it? Let me know what you think. I'm not changing, by the way. I just want to know how that is. It looks pretty good. $315 though. Jeez. $315 for calc reactor. Okay. All right. The reason I'm doing the calc is the pH. And I have to say, it's been about a week, but it absolutely is working.
How much are you dosing?
I am dosing, I put, I think, 10 cups in it, 10 teaspoons, and I think that should last me a while. So I think the way it works is exclusive. It's fully saturated in the kalkwasser. So whatever, I think I did this math, like what, fully saturated kalkwasser, is per month. I don't remember, but basically gotcha. I'm testing every day and I'm adjusting. Like I test every day, and so far it's dropping slightly. So I'll wait to it to drop to a certain level, then make up the rest with Triton. So yes, yeah, kalkwasser, just like any dosing regimen, you have to test. You have to start slow and then up your dosing if you don't think it's enough. But it's easier to start lower and then increase. But start with half a teaspoon per gallon. Mix it in.
I'm sorry. Check your cell phone. I sent you some stuff. I don't know if you got it.
All right, I did. Let me see.
Oh, okay, cool. I just didn't know if there was a number.
Man, those look nice. Those absolutely look nice. All right. Those are the frags you got today?
Yeah, I got some of them today, and some like that Ganyapora I got from TCK Corals, and the Picasso I got from them, and the Rainbow.
Oh, you got some nice Zoas, man.
Oh, the Zoas, yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. Really nice. Really, really nice. Reef Keeper said, UPS just dropped off my reborn. One step closer to firing up this calcium reactor. Goodbye, GHL doser. Phil and I have been communicating how we've been disappointed with our GHL dosers. I think the first year mine worked fine, and then all of a sudden the dosing heads started failing one after the other. Hey Phil, what calcium reactor are you going to use? Let me know what calcium reactor you're going to use. Ooh, he lost another head. Hey, Brian, do you have time to jump in for a little bit? Said he got it on sale. You don't want to tell us the price. You can tell us the price. Oh, Vertex. He got the nice one, guys. He got the nice calcium reactor, the Vertex. All right. Hey, Greg, let me know if you want me to text you that link so you can jump in. Yes, so basically Phil and I have been just losing GHC. Oh, let me back up a bit. You can see my Neptune stuff right here. My GHL, you see those dosing lines coming down? I hope you guys can see that. My GHL doser is right here. Dosing heads not working well. I've been even failing. I think I've replaced 3 in like the last 2 months. Reef Keeper, he got his $3.99 on Aqua Cave. That's actually good deal. Giancarlo Camarado, I'm 16 years old. Should I start making vids? Currently have a 525 Red Sea Reefer and it's day 22. Absolutely. You should start making video. Start making videos. I love watching Reef videos. I work from home. And whenever I'm doing anything, you know, washing dishes, cooking, whatever it is, I watch Reef vids. I like to see videos of people's tanks. And the good thing about, you know, I take so many photos on my phone and I rarely ever go through my phone to see, you know, dig up some pictures of my tank, but I'll see old videos of my tank. So it's a way to document and you can go back and see, you know, the progress that you've had. So I think it's a good idea. You learn some skills, 16, learn some editing skills, get comfortable making videos with YouTube, but at 16, parents' permission. So as long as your parents say yeah, go ahead and do it. Dave, Asunti picture is awesome for mixing kalkwasser. The slurry stays below the spout. All right. Hey, I really want to see that calcium reactor, that calc reactor. Yavo, he's coming up a year on his 2.1. Yeah, Yavo. Yeah. I bought mine brand new. I didn't buy mine secondhand. I think Phil got his GHL doser brand new. They shouldn't be a weird item, but I think what's happening, and if you go on the forums, I think it's on Reef to Reef and Reef Central, you can see it on both. What users, something is happening where the dosing heads are being worn out, and even some new ones. And they've said, like, hey, if you order from Bulk Resupply, you should be getting new heads. But I got new heads from Bulk Resupply and put them on, and it's worn down, so go figure. Hey, what's up, Brian? How you doing, man?
What's up, everybody?
Long time no see, man.
Yeah, man, I've been hiding lately. Not really, just been busy, man. You know, I had a lot of stuff going on between like November and now, so you know, I'm just trying to get back in the swing of things.
That vacation,
yeah, it was great, man. I love the Bahamas, man. It was cool. Last few days, we figured out how to ride the bus, so just rode the bus around the island and everything. It was cool, man. So yeah, then you know, I had Christmas right after that. Then I had one of my daughter's birthdays right after that. Tuition payments is due, so it just hits, man.
I think I hit you up and you said, "Man, I'm taking my daughter to school," or you said, "Yeah."
Yep. So yeah, it's been good, but you know, I really haven't. I've done a lot to the tank. I really haven't added anything. You know, like I said, I just got this calc reactor that I'm plugging in. And what I want to do is I want to plug it into the dose because I don't want to use calc with my top off water. I have a calcium reactor. My tank is in the basement, so I have low pH. My pH may hit 8 point something. You know, it never really goes above maybe 8.03 or 5, something like that. So I want to try this calc reactor. I'm going to hook it up to a dose so I can meter the amount of water that I have going into it. And the thought is I will adjust my effluent, turn it down, so, you know, I won't dose as much alkalinity and calcium through the calcium reactor, and the calc reactor will pick up the slack and add a higher pH to the water. So we'll see how that works.
You know what? Man, you've given me, that is actually a pretty good idea. I went with the calc reactor because my pH sometimes at night, depending on if we're all home and let's say I fall asleep for a couple hours in like the living room, I go down to 7.7. Like the day before, like I'm looking at my Apex now, January 4th, my pH dropped to 7.57 that night because we had a few people over. Like that's just dangerously low. So, but the last couple of days with the calcium reactor, things have been, you know, like I think, what am I right now? I got it. 8.1, I think. I am at 8.1. Never been 8.1 this late in the evening, ever. Goes up to 8.4, I think, during the day. So extremely happy with what's going on. But what you just said about dosing pump, that might be a good way to go.
Yeah, because like I said, I don't want to use the ATO side of it because I don't always evaporate the same amount of water all year round. And if I set it with a dose, and we all know how precise the dose is, if I set it with the dose, I know exactly how much alkalinity and calcium I'm adding. So I can almost subtract that from the calcium reactor by slowing down the effluent or, you know, maybe manipulating the pH in the reactor. You know, I can adjust. That's what I'm, you know, it's configurable. I can adjust. It's not based off of evaporation. So I'm gonna try it. Let's see what happens. You know, I've always fought with lower pH because once again, it's a basement calcium reactor. I've tried the what do you call it? The little pellets from BRS and to the CO2 scrubber. I've tried that. That's just expensive for me with the amount of water I have. I got the airline tubing running from the skimmer outdoors. It doesn't raise it enough. My pH right now is 8.04, and it's actually dropping now because I'm at the end of my light cycle. So it didn't really get above that. My skimmer line outside, like if I don't, I go down to 7.6 every night if I don't run a skimmer. Like it's that bad. But the Vertex skimmer, when I was running the Vertex Omega 180i, that skimmer pulls that. I think I borrowed like an air meter from my friend. That thing is rated for 1,600 liters per hour. And when I measured, it was like 1,500. I don't know how accurate that tool is, but there's some skimmers that pull an insane amount of air that is sort of makes up for it. I had a little Tunzi skimmer, like a Tunzi DC skimmer that I loved. The reason I took it off the tank is because at full, when you're running the pump full open, it only pulls 600 liters per hour of air. And I was running it at maybe like 25, 30% the speed of the pump. So you can imagine, you know, 60% max and let's say 30% of 600. It's a lot lower. So my pH, end story is, man, I feel exactly. Apartment closed up for the New York winters. We see low pH. I see the low pH. And I'm trying a few things to battle it. The pellets thing from BRS, that's just another consumable that I didn't want to keep buying. Same thing. Another consumable. It cost a ton of money for me to raise it the 1 point that it did for me. So
You can actually buy that thing. I actually found a place where you can buy that cheaper, and it worked, but I didn't want it. It's another media thing to change.
Yep, I did the same thing. I found that other place too. I can't remember what it was named. Shop MedVet or something like that.
Man, listen, man. Yep. I found it too. Shop MedVet. Yeah, but so far Kalkwasser is but the thing is I'm gonna put a chiller on my tank. So I think what I'm hoping, Brian, is that with the chiller that I keep my temperature like relatively stable all year. Like I'm gonna get a chiller and put it on and keep it on the tank all year round. So between the chiller, heater, or whatever, I want to keep my tank within a 2-degree range. Without a fan, by the way, because the fan, it does the job, but it just increases evaporation. So that's my plan right now. Put a chiller on.
Wouldn't it kind of depend though, the humidity in the house or your apartment? Because if the humidity, and I don't know which one, I could just be talking out my butt here, but if the humidity is like lower or something, isn't it going to pull more water from the tank?
My humidity right now is a very uncomfortable 32 degrees. 32.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? And then in the summer, it goes to about 40-something%, 40, 50.
So yeah, I would think about that too, because if the humidity changes, your evaporation rate may change. And I'm just guessing. I don't know if anybody in the comments knows, or anybody is just on the live right now.
If he's already that low, he's going to have a lot more evaporation.
Yeah. Come on, Biz, man. I thought I had this thing figured out. And
hey, man, I'm trying to help you.
For now, though, I'm going to keep the calcium reactor as is and see what happens. And, so far it seems to be working. I've solved one problem. Let me not solve for another potential problem. Yeah. Let me solve this one problem, see how the tank does, and then, let me not try to be hitting three or four targets.
Mm-hmm. I can understand that.
At one point. I think I've gotten myself in trouble too many times doing that. But it solved the problem. So let's see how the growth goes over the next couple of months.
Yeah, I shouldn't have done what I'm doing now, because I've changed two things. Over the last month, I've also been dosing Red Sea colors. And the reason I started doing that is I looked at a bunch of Triton tests. And I've gotten Triton tests of just pure, new salt water. I use Fritz. And then I've also done Triton tests of my Reef. And I've noticed that the elements that are in A, B, C, D, I am low on every single time. The only one I'm not low on is potassium. So I'm not dosing the potassium one. I think that's B. So I'm dosing the other ones, and I'm doing the testing so I can tell if I'm hitting that mark or not. But I also started doing that. I just want to see if doing those trace elements help, because we all know with a calcium reactor, yeah, you're getting some of the elements from the coral skeletons, but from what I've been reading, corals also have trace elements in the soft tissues. And I'm wondering if using a calcium reactor, I'm missing those. And if those are the ones that, when I do a Triton test, show 0.
Don't you do like water changes, automatic water changes?
Yes, I've done that. And even with the automatic water change, the last Triton test I did, which was last month in November, where I've been running the dose, doing an automatic water change, those elements were still low. Everything except for potassium. Potassium was the only thing that was normal at 400, I believe it was. But everything else, low. I would think iodine would be all right, but iodine was also 0.
Mm.
So, so I'm just trying. I want to see what happens.
Yeah, I've heard that. I think Cruz Arias has told me that yeah, you should get a lot of trace elements in the skeleton, but soft tissue, there could be some bound up in soft tissues that, that obviously is not in skeleton, so you wouldn't get it. But I thought like just a solid water change schedule should, should alleviate that. And I know you're doing automatic water changes.
Yep. And I thought so too, which was the purpose for the automatic water changes. But what I did, remember back when I was having issues with tin, one of the tests that I did was I tested water, fresh salt water that I just made up. And the same elements that are missing in my Reef water that are in ABCD, except for potassium once again, were low or zero on those tests as well. And this is Fritz salt. So we'll see what happens. It's one of those things I like to experiment. So we'll see what happens over the next couple of months.
All right. That's interesting.
But unfortunately, I shouldn't have changed two things at once, because now if I do have a huge explosion in growth, I won't know exactly what did it. Is it the higher pH, which causes calcification to happen faster? Or is it the trace elements, which, makes the brighter colors and stuff like that? So,
all right. Let me say hello to a couple of people that jumped in. We got Falcon Quick, K-Town Reefer, Ugly Man's Reef, Tina, AL, Lisa, Dave again, Dicanthus, Wiz Reef, Down South Reefer, DC Reefers here. Who else? I think I saw Falcon Quick, Reef God, Producer Reef. Welcome everybody. Thanks for watching, guys.
What's up, everybody?
What is I was gonna say something. Oh, one other change I made to the tank is I got my hands on a kilowatt. I've been having this thing where I'm running a Royal exclusive skimmer, and though it's supposed to be an 18-watt pump, and it's pulling way more wattage than it says it is. And when I emailed them, they immediately blamed it on my Apex. So I got a kilowatt, one of those plugs that measure the wattage, and I've been just measuring the wattage of everything. And I realized, I should have known, well, T5s, 4-foot T5s are what, 54-watt bulbs? But those things pull a lot of electricity. So I actually got another Radeon on the tank. So I'm running 3 Radeon 15s on a 4-foot tank. I turned the T5s off, matched the par, measured the par all around the tank, and matched the same par. And the tank is 3 to 4 degrees cooler just by running the Radeons with the same par versus the T5s. So that's another thing that I'm doing to maybe keep the tank cooler and kind of level off the evaporation is I'm going to keep those T5s off for a while and just, see the Radeon, because, the temperature, it made a huge difference in temperature. I didn't realize how much heat T5s put off. That really surprised. I knew, but that really surprised me. I was really, really surprised by the amount of heat. So I'm gonna be keeping an eye on that. Hey, what's up, Dave? Forgot to shout out Dave. What's up, Dave? Alex, you're running T5s, right, Alex?
T5s and Radeons.
Oh yeah, you are running T5, but you don't have heat issues, man. You're in Chicago.
Generally, no.
Yeah. It's what temperature is it there now?
It's like 15, 20 degrees.
Yeah, today was our coldest day. Let me see we're 32 degrees. A nice brisk 32. Oh, Tina said I forgot to shout out Billy Pipes. I didn't see Billy. Shout out Billy Pipes. Billy Pipes gets a salute. Let me put it back on me. Hello, Billy Pipes. Sorry, forgot to shout you out. You get a salute. You get a 2-hand salute. Hey, what's up, Carlos? Shout out to Dave's Nano Tank. Shout out to Dave for having the stuff. I don't know what the stuff is, but I'm not involved. That's a transaction between the both of them. So whatever stuff you're talking about in quotation marks, that's between mostly Reefs and Dave. Not me. But Dave is cool. Dave is cool. Dave is definitely cool. All right. Any other question, fellas? Let me see if I had any other news. Any other news? Any other news? Let me see. Trident. Hey, Biz, are you going to Trident one of the first things you're going to purchase? Did we lose Brian? I know he's on mute.
I don't know, man. I like the idea. I mean, if I get the beta tested, great. You know, I'd pay for it or whatever. But you know, I don't know. Would I run out to the store and buy it first day? I don't know, man. That's one of those things. If I have the money, if I don't have no tuition payments at that moment, I might go ahead and buy it, man. You know.
But you're gonna have tuition payments a few months from that.
I know it always comes back. So you know. So yeah, I don't know. I like the idea. I would love to see the information because I am a techie person. I like information. The more information I have, I think the better I can do. And I would just like to see it. You know, I want to see the information. So I don't know. It would be hard not to, knowing who I am, what I do, but
$600.
No, man, that's a tuition payment.
And then $20 a month.
Yeah.
If you want to test twice a day.
I think it will be like everything else, where it started out cool. I loved it. It's like my flow meters right now, where I really don't care at this point unless something goes wrong. And, you know, I get alarmed because one of them's too high or too low. But, you know, at first I loved it. It was a nice little novel idea to know how much flow I was really getting. You know, same thing. I test with a HANA checker maybe every other day. So I know what my ALK does at 8 p.m. typically every night. But, you know, to see the other ones, I test the other two maybe once a month, you know. So I don't know. It's nice in theory, but I don't know. It depends. If I had the money, I probably would, just because I'm a geek.
Yeah, the same here. I wish I could say, hey, I'm doing it for everyone, but I'm really interested in doing it for my, you know what? I like reefing. But I think the reason I got into reefing was I've been a technology lover my entire life. And I've always liked fish tanks. Have always intrigued me. And then when I saw an Apex and realized like, hey, I could merge like something I admire with one of my main hobbies. Yeah. That was just
ultimate, you know, I love the ability to integrate the technology with this hobby. So
I've also made the mistake and I've gone like too much in one direction where now I'm dialing it back. But you know, I'm not. You're running your entire thing from your Apex. Everything
is ran from the Apex. But I know what you mean because I've had times where my Apex has crashed. I've had times where I've had to send a brain unit back to Neptune. So, you know, I haven't bought a second head unit, and that's something I do want to do. But, you know, it's one of those things. You can do that if you know how to run everything off of the Apex. Like I can shut all this stuff down and still my tank will not die in a week.
Well, your tank won't die, but remember, like your dose and stuff. You know what? I haven't traveled much, but starting 2 weeks, I'm gonna be on the road for a week each month. So I have to kind of be sure about the redundancy because now my wife works, so I can't, you know, just call up my wife at any time and be like, "Hey, hon, like, can you do this for me?"
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then, you know, I can't expect her to come home from a full day at work. She's home with the kids. And then, you know, she's home with the kids and then having her taking care of tank stuff when there's important stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, if I'm away from home and the Apex dies, I'm dependent on fallback mode to at least run some stuff, you know. Granted, yeah, my dose is off, you know, but if I'm here, like I have BRS 1.1 milliliter dosers that I can switch off. You know, I run my calcium reactor on a Kimura, so that's not really controlled by the apex. Now the pH, I'd have to set the my aquarium plants regulator manually, but I can do that. I've done it before, so.
Yeah, I think I think this summer, last summer, it's 2019. I think Billy just jumped in. I think last summer I was at the point where everything was on the apex. Like I was using the gyres, the ice cap interface modules, which when the tank goes down, that doesn't work. So I had gone like the opposite direction. Like I was like the tank did not work at all, except the light stayed on. That's the only thing that happened. So yeah, I've been dialing it back a little bit, and I don't want to sound like I'm bashing Apex because some of it was my fault, but I am never not going to have a tank that. Hey, Billy, you jumped in for a second, man, and before we could say hello, you jumped out. I'm never not going to have a tank that doesn't have an Apex. That's like a triple negative. But, when I set up my Nano, one of the first things I bought for it was an Apex Junior. Oh, speaking of which, Biz, so my next major project is I'm going to connect my Nano. And I think that's the reason I emailed you. I am going to connect my Nano with the big tank and do like an automatic, basically like an automatic water change between both of them, like have them mix. Is there anything, as someone who's set up like water change and you have water mixing between your frag system and your main system, is there anything I should know, anything I should consider? Or you think just using the dose, calibrating it properly, I should be all right?
Using the dose, calibrating it properly, you should be all right if you're doing a large enough amount of water between the two to matter. Now, my bubble tip tank and my main 180 are plumbed together. So, those two are constantly circulating water between them. Now, my auto water change is dropping water into the sump under the 180. So, basically think of it, my 180, my 40 breeder sump, and my bubble tip tank are all circulating water between each other. And I have one return pump, which is a core, that's pumping water all through those three. So I don't have a dose like moving water between two tanks, but I do have the dose doing an automatic, a daily water change of like 3 gallons a day or something like that.
So, okay, I see. I was going to have, so that Nano tank, I'm just going to keep softies and mushrooms and stuff like that. So I was just going to run the dosing lines, connect them. And then the Nano, I think I measured it. I think it's a 12-gallon tank. And between displacement, rock, and everything, it holds about 7-8 gallons. So I was thinking of doing a gallon a day, half a gallon a day, and then I wouldn't need a doser and other things on that other tank.
Now that I can see working because you're working with such a small amount of water. It's not, my dose is doing what that 3-gallon water change in a couple of hours. So, it's not. I can see that happen.
All right, and since I'm going to be basically drilling, I think the way it works, I'm literally going behind my bed. So I'm going through the wall and through the other wall. So it's a quick and easy. I'll just run some PVC on the floorboard to like protect. And another thing I kind of realized is I can use one Apex because since I'm going to be running like 2 lines for the water, why not just run a 50-foot Aquabus and just put an EB8 out there instead of running 2 Apexes? I can run 1.
That's what I do. My water changing station is in my laundry room on the other side of the wall from the room that my tank is in. So I have a bunch of 1/4-inch tubing going up to the ceiling, through the ceiling, and then back down to where my 180 is. It's probably a good 50-foot run. And the dose handles that fine. It's not a problem with the dose.
All right. See, okay. Those are the questions I basically, when I hit you up that day, that's what I wanted. So I was going to do up to the ceiling, go around, but then I realized like, hey, just drill through the wall, go right there. I think I'm gonna do it. I was hoping to do that over the holidays, but I was sick. So that's my project. And I think I can probably sell that Apex Junior, get an EB, or just trade it. Maybe someone, I can get an EB8. And that way, whatever I need to put on that tank out there, I don't need a dosing pump out there. Maybe I'll keep the auto top off on the nano tank. I'll see. I don't know. But I think I can take a lot of equipment off that tank. Maybe take the skimmer off. Maybe keep the refugium, but that tank has 0 nutrients. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna do it. Hey, Alex, we got a question for you. How big is that Hippo Tang? Someone is asking.
Hippo Tang? Don't have a Hippo Tang.
I think I saw a Hippo Tang. Hey, Alex, how big is that Hippo Tang?
They're probably talking about this little guy that attacks me every time I come over here. No, it's a little orange or yellowtail or azure damsel. Where did he go? Every time I've gone over here to pick up a frag, little buggers attacked me.
Yeah, Falcon Quick was asking how big is that Hippo Tang. So, yeah, it's a damsel. It is a damsel. Someone was messing with Tina. Come on, guys. Why are you guys messing with Tina? Thank you, Lisa, for taking care of that for me. I like to blab so much I end up not seeing things like that. But come on, guys. We keep it clean over here.
Okay, I'm done. I think.
Done mountain frags?
I think so.
Alex, do you use glue on everything? Because a lot of plugs, you look like you're just putting them down.
Yeah, they're all super glued.
Oh, okay.
Well, there's definitely a few more acros in here now.
Reef Keeper is saying the new HANA salinity temp tester is sweet. He loves it. Reef Keeper, do you have the have you ever used the Milwaukee salinity? Would you say it's better?
That's what I'm using now.
Yeah, I like my Milwaukee. I wouldn't change, but you know what? I already have my Milwaukee. It seems to be working. He said he had the ice cap. Yes. Oh man, I've heard such not bad things about the ice cap, but I hear it's so unreliable. I think Richard Ross was saying when he tried testing in the tank, it was giving him bad readings, even though it said it can test right in the tank. But I think he said when he took a cup of water out of the tank and tested, it tested fine. So I think it's measuring conductivity, and I think just maybe some electrical interference in the water was messing with it. But I heard that the ice cap can be finicky. But Kevin from Hannah Instruments was actually telling me about this I saw him at MACNA, and then I also saw him at the Aquatic Experience in New Jersey. So he was telling me about this. I hope to get my hands, you know what? I think the Milwaukee's working fine for me. So for now, unless I get one really cheap, I think I'm going to stick with my Milwaukee for now. If I can get a tester unit, I'd love to test it. Hey, Reef Keeper. Oh, you have to calibrate it monthly. Okay. All right. Still sweet. Still nice.
Hey, Seymour, what do you think about a sea urchin to handle green hair algae?
Ooh, I want to answer this one.
Okay. You go ahead.
I cannot get rid of this thing.
Yeah, sea urchins will definitely do the job. Just gotta accept a little bit of risk with them in terms of knocking things over. Like, I think as much as I like this guy here, this one's about wearing its welcome out in the reef tank because it's just so big. But you get a good balance of sea urchins. Don't add a ton of them at once. Try like one or two. Usually, like pin cushions do a pretty good job. They're a little less pushy and stuff on the Reef, although they'll pick things up and carry them around. If you want something a little more of a serious level, which is usually a temp resident in most tanks, get a baby long spine sea urchin. It will destroy the algae, but once it gets big, you'll probably want to remove it. That's how I took care of the hair algae in my tanks, was just balancing nutrients and slowly adding urchins.
I had one. It wasn't the long spine. It was the white. It had the white spine, but it was a shorter spine. And I had it and loved it. Did everything. It also cleaned all the coralline algae off my rocks. I had 2 of them in my 75, which, you know, I guess, Alex, you just have so much coralline that they can't just eat all of it. But within a couple of weeks, like, my rocks were like scrubbed clean of coralline.
Yeah, they don't get it as bad in the Reef tank because it's not, you know, I don't have long spines in there, but like the fish tank, like there is coralline in here and you could see some of it, but you could also see how it's like mostly like, you could see all the bite marks on the bottom.
Oh, you have urchins in the big tank, the 720.
Yeah, this one's got five long spines in it, and 1 pin cushion. Oh, you can kind of see one of them waving back there.
Yeah. Okay.
Not
the fish
the
doesn't
most
bother
ideal
them.
for a Reef though.
The fish doesn't bother them.
Kinda. Well, he doesn't seem to care about urchins so much, but this little guy right here, he likes eating sea urchin spines. They're a tasty treat sometimes.
Oh, so he'll eat the spines.
Yeah, they eat the spines until it's down to the main body, and then they crack that open.
Ooh. Okay. All right.
That's all right though. It helps keep my puffer's beak worn down, so not a problem for me.
All right. I see you added a little leather coral to that tank.
Oh yeah, the Colt's been in here. They haven't been looking the happiest, but the angels might be picking a little bit. Hard to say.
But I thought I saw like a mushroom, a little tiny like toadstool. I meant. Oh yeah,
there's a green sinularia, and while I was just looking there was another green sinularia, and I don't know where it is.
Yeah, okay. That green sinularia isn't looking too good either. Are they just eating it, messing with it?
Well, there's just not really good lighting in here. I mean, it's just three Vega colors over a 720 gallon tank. It's just not good lighting for this.
All right, gonna add another one or?
Well, once all this SPS grows out more, and I start fragging it out, then yes, I'm probably gonna put it in a frag tank, grow it for a bit, and then attach it to larger rocks, and then I'm gonna start adding lighting to this tank and more flow, and start putting SPS in here.
Looking good. Looking good. Hey, exclusive. You should make a video, man. Haven't seen yeah, you should make a video, man. Let's make some videos, man. Make some videos. You've been hanging around the streams a lot. Just make a video. I know you sent me some photos, but
no, I also sent you a video.
Oh yeah, I did. I saw the video. Oh, my phone died.
I actually put that. I just put that up on YouTube, but
you did.
Yeah, but you know.
I know. Don't worry about it.
Time limited and all that, and
hey, I shouldn't be telling you about making videos. I couldn't tell when was the last time I made a video, so you get no complaints from me here. You get no complaints from me here. I actually got a GoPro for Christmas. Wife gave me a GoPro, so hopefully, you know, like making videos become a little bit easier, where just point and shoot.
I have a GoPro, and I'd rather use my iPhone than the GoPro, to be honest
You know
with
what?
you.
You know what happens? The phone is always with you. That's what I find. And
Exactly.
yeah, the phone is always with you. And you know
And
you know what the mistake I've always made is always shot videos with the hope of going and doing voiceovers later. And then I realize how a voiceover is just so much work. So anytime
unless
when I'm shooting a video now, what I do is I try to at least get some text in, like talk or describe what I'm seeing. Where even if the audio is not good, I know what exactly I'm looking at. I can describe what I'm looking at because I'm not the type to sit down and maybe write a script or something like that. I kind of want to wing it. So it doesn't work for, I mean, everybody's process is different. This is the newest one down south. It's the Hero 7. I've actually tested it out a bit. The actual steady thing is actually pretty good. I've shot some test videos with me walking around, and I think the thing they put in, whatever technology it's called, where it helps you steady your hand where you don't need a tripod, I actually like it. And the audio on it is not too bad. So I like it. I definitely like it.
what I like about those things is the slow motion. Like when I went away, I went down like one of those water slide things in the pool.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I got a video out there where it's like just before I hit the water, I got slow motion with music, and it's awesome.
Yep, love it. Time lapse. You can actually put it in front of the tank. Actually shot a time lapse, but I didn't realize I was half naked and then I walked in front of the camera, so it wasn't a good look. So that time lapse got messed up. I know, Alex. I saw Alex's face, but yeah, he couldn't share that time lapse.
It's a interesting story there.
Yeah, so that time lapse got messed up. So, but yeah, GoPro 7. Got it for Christmas. So Dave is saying you can buy a selfie stick at the dollar store and steal the phone clip. I know, but Christmas gift. So,
And my problem is I'll record a video, but I'll never edit it. I have probably a good 5 or 6 videos that I just need to do a little bit of editing.
Oh, 5.
Yeah, I can't do edit. You know, what you get is what you get. You know, there's no voiceovers, there's nothing. It's like it's raw as it could be. So on some videos I'll be like, yeah, and dumb. And I'm like, it is what it is. I don't have time to sit there and edit a movie.
Yeah, I just don't have the time too much anymore. That's why I haven't released anything. And you know, I'll do a script and everything. I'll record a video, and I don't have time to edit it, and then I'll change it. You know, I change something in my system, so now that video isn't really applicable anymore. So you know, I don't know. I just need to sit down and maybe just knock out a bunch of videos over the weekend, and then go back to my normal life.
You know, it's funny. I have so the other day I was doing like I was doing a video reviewing a product, and I realized I don't have the product anymore. And so that has happened to me a couple of times where I have a product and it took me so long to actually do a review that I end up not having the product anymore. In fact, that's funny enough, that Tunzi osmolator video that I did, some of that B-roll was from the first time I had a Tunzi osmolator 2 years ago, sold it, got the Neptune ATK, and then got another Tunzi osmolator. Some of that was old footage from like a year ago, 2 years ago, that I just recycled. So I know what it, but I think in my Final Cut Pro is, so my laptop, I have a new like 2016 MacBook, and the thing is full, and it's all project videos. I think fish food, product reviews, Reactor reviews, everything. And I think at some point it just becomes so daunting that you don't even want to do it.
Seymour, are you still running the UV?
I am not. I took it. I turned it off. I turned it off. I did get some weird. Okay, I'm not going to blame it on the UV. No, as of right now, I I'm not running the UV. I'm seeing some weird algae thing-ish in my tank, but not running the UV is a part of sort of my tank cleanup where I'm trying to not have unnecessary equipment on the tank. So I'm not running it, but I'm not ready to take it out, rip it out, and not put it back. But for now, not running it.
So I think yesterday, no, 2 days ago, I got this UV, the AA killing machine, green killing machine, I think it's called. It's small. It's 24 watts. I mean, it's rated. I think it's rated for up to like 120 gallons. I have it on this 45 gallon, and I'm running it 8 hours. And from yesterday to today, I could tell you that, you know, like when you go to sleep at night, you wake up maybe like 2, 3 in the morning, you look at your water and it's crystal clear.
Yeah.
And that's how my water is 24/7 with this thing on. And I'm running it 8 hours a day.
Hey, you said you're not running your UV anymore?
I'm not. I mainly ran my UV for dinoflagellates, to kill dinoflagellates.
Did you notice your pH drop after you turned it off?
I didn't. I did notice that my salinity probe started to work after I turned off my UV. So it could be that the interference from that was messing with it, but I didn't notice my pH. Is there a correlation between that?
Well, yeah, it's a high output light. It'll help raise it a little bit. I noticed my tank, it didn't do a ton, but raised it up a little bit. It does have an oxidizing effect on things.
I know I have to. So I knew when I first put it on, I knew I had to clean my glass less, but that's probably because I had really high phosphates at the time. I haven't noticed that as much now, but for me, it's just a power and heat issue. And again, it's part of the simplifying the tank. I'm not ready to get rid of it permanently yet.
If you got heat issues, that'll definitely contribute. Mine,
yeah.
All the power supply or the ballast for mine, man. That thing, I got it up on. I used what do you call it? The T-slot aluminum I use for my light rails and stuff. I actually have it sitting on that like a passive heat sink just to help draw heat away from it.
Okay. Alex, you're giving me some food for thought now.
Just so you know, like all my DC controllers for my J-Bow pumps on my skimmer, those two are both on aluminum blocks as well as a passive heat sink. They're zip tied to them to help alleviate a little bit of heat.
Okay. Let me think about that. I've been ignoring the chat a little bit. Let me think about that for a little bit, Alex.
Hey, have you heard from Paul? I haven't seen him in like a couple of months.
He's been around. He just doesn't make videos anymore. He's on Facebook.
Oh,
yeah.
He's getting a new tank.
Yeah. He's Reef Community Worldwide. Yeah, he just, I don't know, get fed like we all do, get fed up with YouTube sometimes. So he's on Facebook. Let me see. Lisa, you know my feelings toward that phone. For the purpose of you putting out a vid, I will disregard my feelings toward it. What phone are you talking about? You can't be talking about the iPhone. You don't like the iPhone, Lisa? Love iPhones. Love my iPhones. Yeah, point, shoot, talk. That's my go-to video style. You know what, Reef Spy, I agree. So I have like a little webcam here, my squeaky chair. And the last video I did for the Tunzi oscillator, it took me 2 hours to make it, which that's real quick. So what I basically did was sat down, like in my head, I knew what I was going to talk about, sat right here, said what I needed to say. And then I went ahead and found video or shot B-roll to kind of cover up instead of me sitting here twiddling my thumbs, staring at the camera. I think that worked for me. So I think I'm going to follow that going forward. That worked well for me. But yeah, man, like making videos are fun, and I'm not going to commit to any kind of regular cadence because life happens, man. Got 2 young kids, you know, full-time job, travel. It's a lot to commit to a video a week or a video a month. I have much respect, and I tell Billy this sometimes. I tell especially Devin, I tell them, I said, I couldn't do it. Like, you guys who make videos, who have full-time jobs, work, families, and you do videos. Ton of respect for you guys that make videos every week. Ton of respect. This thing is hard. So I got a ton of respect. It's just, I can't do it. Reef Dudes has been doing a video a week for what, 2 years now? So more power to him.
I agree. I can't do that. But hey, I like y'all videos though.
Hey, listen, I love watching videos. Like I literally get up, and when I get up before everyone, the videos the night before, I put a playlist called Watch Later. And while I'm working, see my TV right behind me, I have a Fire Stick, and I literally put videos on. And then when something interesting catches my eye, I'll turn around. But when I'm eating lunch or anything, like I just watch like the play down. But I love watching you guys' videos. I love seeing videos of tanks. But I can't commit to that. Can't commit to weekly videos. Death Mage, is this a no shave January? No, Death Mage, it is not. Whatever, Mage, whatever. It's not a no shave January. My little clippers I used, I broke them, or I can't find them. So listen, it's gonna get worse before it gets better, because I'm traveling in 2 weeks, and I'm not going to cut it until before I leave. So it's gonna look a little bit worse before it gets better. Yeah. How many Radions are you running, Brian?
I have 3.
3 XR30s over the big tank.
Yep,
yeah.
Over the 180. Then I also have a bunch of T5s. I have 2, 4, 6, 8 tubes of T5.
All right. So I think I'm going to go with, I've been messaging Dev, like asking him questions. So I think I'm going to just go with just the Radions, just for heat. I might even consider taking the fixture down, because I don't think my colonies are going to, grow that big where they need like lighting from all sides anytime soon. Mm-hmm. So I think on a 4-foot tank that's 20 inches front to back, I think 3 or 4 XR15s, my 3 XR15s now running at about 45%. Pull less than 100 watts. The 4 T5s by themselves pull over 200 watts. So I'm looking at half the power for the 3 Radions, plus the heat. I think that's what I'm looking at. Oh, hey, man, Deathmade, don't troll me, man. Why are you changing lights again? I'm not changing lights. I'm just adding and subtracting. I'm not changing lights. Yeah. Respy. Oh, changing lights about as often as Billy changes sumps. Oh, it's that. Oh. Do you think I change lights too much, Biz?
Yeah, man. I mean, part of it is you got to keep it. You can't change all the time. If you do, your corals now got to readjust it maybe 3 to 6 months before they really, get accustomed to it, and then you change again. Probably one of the hardest things that I find to do is to not touch my lights. Every day I want to touch my lights, but I don't. I keep them the same. I do increase the intensity of them every few weeks. I go up a percent or so. I'm trying to get up there, but yeah, you can't keep changing lights. You got to go and stick with it.
All I did was add another fixture, man. That's all I did. And I matched par. I know the spectrum is different, but that's all I did.
Go for it, man. Do it.
No. No.
Get the calcium reactor while you're at it too.
But hey, I'm like that too. I like to change stuff too. I just try not to change lights too much. You know, other than increasing power, which I've slowly been doing. I'm about 250 halfway, you know, the midpoint of my tank. I'm at 250, so I can go a little higher. My lights are at, what are my lights at right now? My radions are at 47%. So with the radions and T5s, middle point in my tank, on like that shelf, if you've seen pictures of my tank, it's about 250 right now.
I see it. All right. Hey, I'm not changing it willy-nilly. This is for a specific reason. All right? This is a heat thing. All right? I'm trying to heat. I'm suffering. I am suffering. I'm suffering from heat. My tank right now, my ambient temperature today was 78 degrees. Right?
Wow.
Before that's without my heaters kicked on. So before I turned the T5s off, right? My temperature with, I'm just using one of these Tunzi Aquawind fans. Using the Tunzi Aquawind fan, I have to use that fan to keep it to 81.8. That's during the winter.
Damn.
Yeah, my apartment is on the warm side. I've said that all the time. Like, I don't, my heater is just there as the backup. Like my yeah. 'Right? I'm not sure about it, or I need it.
Is it me?
81.8 while your lights are in. Hey, did you say something, Brian? Was it you exclusive?
I thought you were sounding a little robotic, but I wasn't sure if it's you or me.
Oh, it says robot. Oh, it was me. I guess it was me. All right, can you guys hear me better now? Is that better?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey,
All right,
how many watts did you say your radions was using?
30.
30. Okay, I was just wondering. My radions all on, my 3 radions at what percentage did I say? Anyway, my radions are about 221 watts.
Oh, all three of them?
Yep, all 3 of them at 47%.
Do you realize that I realized there was a slight discrepancy between my there's a slight discrepancy between my computer just can't click on anything. So we will keep going until this thing crashes, peeps. I just realized that the Neptune systems, did you ever test and see if there's a discrepancy between like the wattage that the Apex is pulling out and maybe a kilowatt meter?
No, I haven't tested that, but I know you can reset the amp meters and everything on Apex. I have had to do that before because I'll plug something in that I know was taking a certain amount of amps, and it would show like 0 or something like that, or it would show completely off. So you can telnet into the Apex and reset those amp meters. And I have done that before on EB8. So I haven't tried it on an EB832.
I haven't telnet into the Apex in a while.
Yeah, last time mine crashed, that was the only way I can get into it was the telnet. And through Telnet, I was able to tell that one of my outlets had a bad character in it, and that's what crashed the Apex.
The last time I had a full on, well, other than the last summer, before that, the last time I had a full on Apex crash was, it turns out some circuitry in my display module went bad. And the display screen was the last thing, I would think, to unplug. So that was the cause of the problem. All right. Okay, now I can see the chat again, and we got everyone telling me and giving me advice. Leave the tank, leave the lights alone. I gotcha. Gotcha. I'm still not turning the T vibes on for now. Anyway. Yeah. Listen, I'm going to give it, now with the Kalkwasser and with the lights, I think that's enough changes for now. There's no more changes. Everything is locked in for a while now. I think that's enough changes for at least the next quarter. And I'm cool with that. It's two important things to test, but I definitely now have to look into like a chiller for the summer. Like I need, like, I was using a 110 horsepower. I probably going to have to get like a, what's the next step up from a quarter horsepower biz? From a 110. Is it a quarter or a half or 1/5?
What again? Say again?
Chiller. Do you use a chiller?
No. Yeah. I'm in St. Louis, man. And I'm in a basement.
I don't know what that means.
Well, this week we've had every season.
Listen, man, I work in Memphis, man. And Memphis, this in the summer, Memphis is hot and humid. And you guys are right on the Mississippi River too. So
yeah.
You're telling me
we're like Memphis, because I'm in Memphis all the time, actually. We need to hook up because I got a brother-in-law that stays in Germantown. But
I'm like 20 minutes. I work 20 minutes, 10, 15 minutes from Germantown. Just stay on Poplar, man. Stay right on Poplar.
Okay,
the tallest building in East Memphis, that's where I work. Right next to that iBank Tower. That's where I work.
Next time I'm down there, I'm going to look you up. But Memphis is just like St. Louis. The only problem is if it snows in Memphis, y'all shut down. If it even looks like it snows there, y'all shut down. We get snow here, so.
Not y'all, man. I'm a New Yorker, man.
Oh, you're a New York person.
Yeah, I've seen it before where they get like half an inch in Atlanta and they go crazy. Like
they go crazy. They can't handle it.
I saw like videos of people like in Atlanta driving in snow, and I don't think, like, if I never saw snow in my life, I would think that at the very least, like, just slow down. But okay. Yeah, Memphis is hot in the summer, man. Like,
yeah, it is.
You'll get like 90 degrees, but then the humidity would be like 90%.
Yeah, it is a little different than New York, that's for sure.
Not a little different, man. A lot different. I get up 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm walking 2 blocks to Starbucks, drenched. I'm drenched. Hey, what's up, Blue Carbon? Hey, what's up, Rip? Hey, Rip. Hey, Rip. You know what? We got to connect. I got an email back from my friend. Not exactly good news, but we'll connect over email. AL said people died that year in Atlanta when it snowed. Deathmate says because the South doesn't have preparations for snow. And that is true. I am in New York City, and our preparation for snow is even a little bit different than, let's say Buffalo, New York, or Syracuse, New York. We, for plowing snow, we just take our garbage trucks and put like plows on the front, which it works. But when you go to cities like Syracuse, like they have specialized equipment that can plow 2 lanes of highway at one time. So, it depends on where you are. Buffalo, Syracuse, like cities in central and northern New York, they get a lot more snow than we do, and they're just prepared for it. So I get what you mean. We'll get, snow in New York City, but it's nothing like some of those upstate, what we call upstate New York. Nothing like that. And I guess what Alex gets in Chicago, he must get that lake effect snow. Must be nuts there.
No, I'm not. We don't get lake effect. We're on the other side of it. Even when I lived in Detroit, not.
You're muted now. You are unmuted and you mute.
Sorry, hitting the wrong buttons again. I was going to say, I really have never experienced lake effect very much because living in Detroit and Chicago, the prevailing winds do not tend to blow that way, so it's very rare.
Wait, I thought Chicago got that crazy snow because of the...
On a rare occasion, but not that often.
Someone is asking, Blue Carbon, can you share the screen with Alex's tank? It's better than Biz's face. I came for the fish and coral.
Boo!
I know. Blue Carbon, I'm unsubscribing. I didn't realize I had it pinned on you.
What's really funny is that I'm looking at all my coral, and I was like, oh, I gotta move a few things, and I just looked, and I had this little encrusting stylo frag that really hadn't been doing a whole lot, and I just realized after I glued all these frags down, I'm like, where'd it go? And I think one of my sea urchins carried it away.
Already?
No, that one's been there a long time.
Okay.
But then I was looking, and I'm like, I found a frag plug with something that looks like it melted because it was face down. So one of the drawbacks of sea urchins, they like to carry things away from time to time.
I got a question about gold hammers. I was watching Mile High Reefer's video, and he was saying that gold hammers and like gold torches, I think he said gold hammer, go for about $200 a head where he is. Is that the price you're seeing?
Well, that torch coral right there is like, I think it's going for $250 a head right now.
But I think he said hammer.
Wait, isn't that the Holy Grail?
No, this is a 21 tails torch.
Oh, okay.
Is
Gold hammer. So I mean, it's all, you just can't get them.
That's what it is.
I bought this piece at the beginning of the band. The same thing with my orange frog spawn back there. So,
what prices are you seeing in St. Louis, Biz, for like gold hammers?
We're not even seeing gold hammers right now.
Oh no, Seymour.
Hundreds and hundreds of dollars a head.
No, so yeah, well, somebody just sold on Manhattan Reef like a wall frog spawn for $80.
Hey, Dave. I don't know if Dave is in the stream, but my gold hammer just basically, because I'm in the process of messing with my tank a little bit, I'm supposed to connect with Dave. So if Dave's looking, hey Dave, how about I think I'm gonna bank some gold, because I do have like a big colony of like gold hammers, and I think what I'm gonna do is, while I'm in the process of like tinkering with my tank again, I think I'm going to bank some gold hammers with Dave. Yeah,
not a bad idea.
I think I got 3 colonies.
I would buy a head off of you.
Yeah, I think I got 3 colonies, man. I think they're in my sand bed now because.
Well, you got to look at it this way. Oh, if Indo doesn't open back up anytime soon, which if it does open up, it might be a while. I mean, the only thing available is going to be, aquacultured stuff, and hammers and torches aren't the fastest of growing corals out there. So
All right, you know what? Hang on a second. I'm gonna send Greg a link. But for you guys that are close to me, exclusive, Dave, Reef God, what I might do is I might just, hit you guys up with some frags. Because at the very least, I mean, I have 2 other colonies, but if something happens, at least there's somewhere where I can get some frags back.
For sure. Let me know.
My gosh. My computer is really slow, so
All right. Well, I'm gonna feed the fish, so
yeah,
everybody should be able
we're
to
watching.
see.
We're watching. We are watching. I'm just emailing. I am terrible at multitasking.
Greg, I mean, Alex, when do you open up your aquariums to the public?
Good
What
question.
are your opening hours of your little zoo there?
Can you tell my fish know they're about to be fed? This is why I come on live stream so everyone could enjoy it.
Oh, no public? You're not going to be like the Long Island Aquarium now?
Not in this house. My wife would hurt me if I let a lot of people in here.
Yeah, listen. We basically same thing here.
All right. Well, I'm gonna step away for a minute and feed these guys.
All right. Just emailed Greg a couple of links. Let me know if those work. What's up, Reef Spy? Producer Reef, I got some bread for you. Oh, need a piece. Ooh, All right, I'm gonna look and see what's going on with my gold torch, gold hammer. I mean, $200 a head just sounds really excessive. I don't think I've seen them for $200 a head at any time. That just sounds nuts to me. Any online stores where anyone what is Worldwide Corals selling for like a gold hammer coral? Hey, Jeff, what's your email address, Jeff? Do I have your? You know what? Let me see if I can text it to you, man. I just emailed it to Greg, so it should still be in my sent.
Alexa, Apex Fusion.
Oh, listen, Biz. When you're doing the when you're doing the A thing, you gotta mute, man, because we all running that.
My bad.
I'm still not forgiving. Hey, which one of those links work for you, Greg?
The first one.
All right. I still can't forgive one time Dave basically, I think he was kidding, but he said, "Hey, turn everything off." And I actually have that as a task to like literally shut everything off, and that wasn't cool, Dave. That wasn't cool.
That's funny.
That's like vacation mode. When I'm going on vacation, I just want to kill everything. So basically, I went offline because he turned my router off and everything. So what's going on, Greg?
Oh, not too much. How about you?
I am good. Hey, gold hammers. I think we were saying I saw Mile High Reefer says gold hammers. He's seeing them selling now for $200 a head. Is that true?
I don't believe it's every Aussie gold hammer. I believe it's just that one they call the whatever the best one of them is out there. I can't recall the term that they use.
Okay.
But that one pretty regularly. I mean, it was selling for about 125 a head, and then it went up to 150. So.
Oh, okay. All right. And he said the other thing is he said Indo. He said since Indo, because I kind of was thinking along the same lines. We're Aussie, but he said since Indo closed, you can't get them anymore. So I don't know if it was a misspeak on his part, but he did say in the video, like, since Indo closed, we can't get those anymore. So the price has gone up.
Oh no, I don't think so. That particular Aussie hammer, the expensive one, it comes in every now and then, but in Aussie, from my understanding, they're not taking the whole corals when they're just breaking off a few branches, and they just keep coming back to it harvesting. But they can only, when you find a really cool coral, you can only come back to it every now and then. You can't just harvest it until it's gone, then you'll never have anything more of it left.
Mm-hmm.
So they know how to ration it out, that's for sure. But torch corals grow so fast. I just don't. I don't know. I think they will eventually come down, especially that particular one.
I can. You know what? I think I bought all my Euphilia, most of my Euphilia from Aqua SD, and I usually email them, my orders. So I can probably go back through my emails and see when and what did I buy, unless they mislabeled it. But I can probably, whenever I'm buying from Aqua SD, I always email pictures and a list because they put out that list on Reef to Reef. So I can probably go back through some old emails from a couple of years ago and see, what exactly I ordered. That would be interesting. I was shocked at that price. I was really shocked because I think I'm not saying I come across gold hammers all the time, but that was really like
gold hammers or gold torch.
Gold hammer. It was a hammer. It wasn't a torch.
Okay. Oh,
torch.
Okay.
Torch. I can understand. Torch. I can see. I can see a little bit more. Not a gold hammer. Gold hammer. Like look at Alex. What Alex is showing us, like a gold hammer, and I think the Aussie, is it the Aussie hammers that have that more of that hammerish look on the tips?
Yeah.
It wasn't even like the Aussie type hammer.
Well, I'm online, and the most, I just put in gold hammer coral, and the most brilliant one I clicked on, it's a distributor in the neon highlighter yellow from Elite Corals in Australia. That's the brightest one I've seen.
All right. I'm gonna go watch again.
I mean, you got to remember, it's like anything else too. Is that someone could put a high price tag on it. Doesn't mean anyone's gonna buy it.
Exactly. A coral is only worth what someone will pay.
I mean,
yeah. It could also be region specific because before I started traveling, I would have thought that when I traveled, let's say to Memphis, my thought process has always been like, hey, they don't buy as much stuff as New York does, so maybe I'll be able to find some gems for a good price. And I was kind of shocked at the high prices for like ordinary stuff that I saw when I started visiting LFSs in Memphis. That really surprised me.
Have you found a good LFS in Memphis? Because I couldn't find one.
Absolutely not. No.
Okay. Yeah.
DeAndre's out there. No, I've been. Not only did I not find a good LFS, but the LFSs I found, like, they were just unhelpful. Like, the guy had Memfish, which is the one that's convenient, that's close to the office. The guy had these that I did find out later, like some invasive blue polyps. I've never seen them before in person. And I wanted a piece. And I'm like, I'll give you $20-$30. Just cut me a 1-inch script. Unwilling. I was like, there's a piece of rock in the sand bed with with some of these polyps. The guy was like, "Nah, I'm not fragging right now. Sorry."
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So yeah, Memfish. I've visited a few other in the area, but I think the next time, when I have time next trip, it'll probably be like see if I can visit some basement guys or something. But I haven't seen any good
That's
ones.
what I was thinking the next time I make a trip to Memphis, just, you know, try to find some basement sellers and see what they got. Because I do like to travel and look at what other LFSs have, you know, it's fun. But yeah, Memphis I wasn't impressed.
What stores did you find in Memphis when you were in Memphis?
I found two. I can't remember the names. I might have to look them up again, but I've only found two. Both of them, neither of them, I was impressed. I have good LFSs here in St. Louis, so I have to see some stuff to be like, wow.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you went to Memphis because that one is in East Memphis, close to you, close to where you say your family is.
Yeah.
So I'm
It was
pretty sure
maybe
you went
15, 20 minutes, if that.
Yeah, that's it.
I wasn't impressed.
Listen. I'm being nice when I say I wasn't impressed.
Yeah, it can be real fragmented sometimes. I mean, even in the Chicago area, we got some really good places and some not so good places. So
I liked Reef Wise in Chicago. That was pretty cool. Well, Lyle.
I was only by his place like a couple of years ago. I need to go by him again.
Yeah, I've gotten a couple of nice anemones from nice bubble tips.
Yeah, I know he's into high end fish, is what he used to do a lot of.
Yeah, his fish. He has some spectacular fish. His coral troughs were all right. His bubble tips were crazy. Yeah, I got 3 bubble tips in my bubble tip tank from him.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this tank more and more and starting to go, wow, I'm actually starting to get a little less space in here.
All right, yeah. All right, I've given up. I just saw one that says House of Tropicals, but apparently it's someone's house. Which is not necessarily a bad thing. Just yes, Dicanthus. It was definitely the blue clove polyps. But yeah, the guy was unwilling to frag it. Let me see how far would it be from work, from the office. See, it's 20 minutes. House of Tropicals is 20 minutes. All right, you know what? I am going to check that out when I'm there because I'll let you know how good that is.
Yeah, let me know.
Yeah, it's close to the Tennessee border. It's not, it's not halfway in between downtown and where Germantown. You have to go a little bit out the way, but it doesn't seem like it's too far from the airport. It's actually very close to the airport.
Okay.
All right, I'll definitely check it out. Definitely check it out and let you know.
Yeah, let me know. I need places to travel when I'm there.
Yeah, the food in Memphis is good though. Gotta say.
Yeah.
Hey Murphy, thank you. Yeah, the food. Hey Dave. Dave, I'll hit you up after the stream. Hey Alex, someone was asking, what do you plan on doing with the cyano? How do you plan on taking care of the cyano?
Oh, well, there's a couple reasons it's over there. One, I gotta just do a little sand stirring. The other is that my RO unit, it'll pump out a little TDS for a while, and I'll swap DI, and it'll go around. But there's no significant plans to do anything with it, really. It's not really hurting anything. And, it's kind of spotty, it's like I'll see it in some areas, and I've been doing a little sand stirring just to kick up the sand, and it'll back off for a while, so just gonna take some time and balance.
All right.
But I'm not gonna dose any chemicals or anything like that for it. Just
Well, how much? That's 1,600 gallons. How much bottles of ChemiClean would you need to take care of that?
I'm gonna say too much money's worth.
All right.
That's how I would put it. I mean, it's just with something this big. I mean, it is so much to dose, and when you look at the amount of fish and coral in here, I mean, I've a long time ago have had bad experiences with that stuff because it depletes the oxygen so bad. I'm already in a basement, and the thought of leaving the skimmer off in this tank for the dose, I do not feel comfortable with that at all.
Yeah, I don't turn I've used it a few times and it works. I don't turn my skimmer off though. I just turn it where it's not skimming anything because I can't afford to leave my skimmer off.
Yeah, same here. I just leave my skimmer on and I just let it overflow. I take the cup off. I just used ChemiClean on my Reef a couple of days ago. I just did the water change maybe Wednesday.
Yeah, and I mean, in my case, I mean, it's in the refuge tank, which just the red light's on, and it's in the sand a bit here, but in my fish tank, I mean, it's like clean as a whistle. There is nothing. So, I mean, if I really thought I had a lot of problems, and I'm guessing a lot of that's just coming from nutrients coming out of the sand, if I really was concerned about it, this whole thing would be covered like a blanket.
Yeah.
I've been testing like a theory, something with Greg, when I was carbon dosing, and even when I was changing something and I got a little bit of cyano, I never bothered doing anything with it, and it just went away after a couple of weeks.
I mean, if you got real high nitrates and phosphates, I mean, that'll definitely do it. Or sometimes if you get to like too little of those things, I've had cyano kind of break out a little bit, but I guess I just can't get concerned about that because I'm really, worried that trying to chase something like that's going to be much more detrimental to the greater good of the reef.
I agree, and I'm just thinking of what you would have to do to get chemicals in there, and then the water change you'll have to do.
It's not worth it for me.
You might just have to pay someone to just bring natural seawater and do a water change that way.
Now you're adding all kinds of scary factors in. I don't know. I can't trust that water.
Why not? It's natural seawater. It's natural. It says 100% natural on the truck.
Yeah, but that's like changing your salt rapidly. I mean, I've seen, it's like anything else in this hobby. You don't do nothing fast, and that would be I'm playing like Russian roulette with my tank.
I agree, but I also think that if your stuff is dying, don't bother with that small change stuff anyway. Listen, I agree with you. At 1,600 gallons, we're talking you have to be 100% sure of anything before you put anything in, because you can't do a water change. I can just literally, even on a 75, I can, within a 24-hour period, I can recycle 100% of my water. And that's between mixing. I could probably go to Home Depot and with $40 bring home enough container and do 100% water change. You can't do that.
Well, and here's the thing to just think about is, I don't know why I keep going to this analogy, but it always seems to work with tanks. the smaller the tank you are, I mean, think about it like being a little jet ski or something. You could turn on a dime and zip all over the place. So this thing's like a super tanker. It does not turn on a dime or slow down or stop easily, and everything happens kind of in slow motion. I mean, if whatever's happening in here is bad enough to start just wiping everything out, I don't think that any amount of water change is going to help at that point.
You know who I heard use very similar words to that? The guy who manages the Long Island Aquarium, Joe Yayulo, where he basically says, like, after taking care of the aquarium for a while, like, he can now see when things are starting to become a problem, and he takes care of them, because he said it's like a big tanker where you can't just do a big turn. You have to do incremental turn. Like, even if you start to do a hard right, because the thing is so big and heavy and it's moving in one direction, it still goes a long way in that direction before it can start to turn out of it. So, I've watched him speak a couple of times, and he always said, when people ask him, like, what's his biggest challenge, I think he always says, like, when he notices small things, like, he has to get on it right away, because, when you notice like a 1 DKH drop in alkalinity in such a big tank, it's such a hard turn to get it back up. So,
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's just I keep watching stuff, and it's like, if 1 or 2 corals aren't looking good, I mean, I've just come to accept that. That happens, and like, this is like a very much a mixed reef, which is always a challenge in itself. So, I mean, I start seeing some corals looking bad, I start getting concerned. But it just depends on what it is. Like SPS, I mean, some of them have been like little tanks, and they've gone through all the little ups and downs where I went too low nutrients, and then I started dosing too much phytoplankton, and I was screwing around with kalkwasser dosing, and that made some things angry, and I stopped. I mean, things recovered a bit. It just took time, but I don't know. I just really try to be careful with not doing things too quick in this system.
Add this app in. Go ahead, ask the question. Hey, Mike Lemming, I think I saw you put a question earlier or comment earlier, so welcome. Down South Reefer, bad question. How do you unblock someone? I don't remember. I think you got to go into YouTube, into your YouTube, your own YouTube, my YouTube control thing, and then unblock them there. I don't remember the exact process. Dicanthus Reef, 2 unhappy corals is less than a tank full of happy questions. It's something I fight when I'm starting up a tank for the first month, but I grow out of it. True. We got a question from Murphy. I woke up to my female clownfish dead today. She was acting funny yesterday, but she was huge. Had eggs coming out of her gills. Has anyone seen this before?
That actually happened to me a couple years ago with my female. I don't know what it was, but same exact thing happened to me.
Is it that she didn't lay her eggs and she just died with her eggs?
Possibly. I mean, unless something happened internally, like her, her eggs ruptured inside of her somehow, maybe. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have enough experience with clownfish to know anything about that. I really don't. I've seen my...
I never really did research on it, but yeah, that exact same type of thing happened to me a couple of years ago.
Internal rupture is what people are suggesting, but I have no
that's
idea.
That's what I thought it was, just some type of like the her, you know, the eggs ruptured inside of her somehow.
Yeah, sorry to hear that, Murphy. Was it well, it doesn't matter if it was a nice clownfish or not, but sorry you lost your fish. But I'm not a fish expert. I've had 2 clownfish since my tank started, and they do produce eggs every now and again. But I wouldn't know when a fish is pregnant and when she's about to clutch. I have no idea. DC Reefer, I cannot wait to get my new tank. Oh, DC's getting a new tank. Whoop, whoop. Hey, DC, what are you getting? Like a 500 gallon, 400 gallon? I can't remember. Hey, Greg Carroll, did you hear that Live Aquaria, not Live Aquaria,
Dr.
Foster is shutting down? Yeah.
Well, they're shutting down the facility.
Oh,
I don't know. Are they actually no longer going to sell under the name Dr. Foster's and Smith?
Yeah, they're 100% shutting down. Like shutting down the facility, everything done.
No. I mean shutting down the facility because they didn't really need it.
Yeah.
But Petco owns them, right?
Yeah,
correct.
They can ship out of their own facility. They didn't need that facility sitting there in Wisconsin. They can consolidate. That's what big companies do. So that's why
they're also saying Live Aquaria might be next.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying that Dr. Foster and Smith is going to be shut down probably in about a month, and all their employees are going to be let go like within like a few months, and then Live Aquaria might be next.
Right.
See,
so what typically happens when a big company buys a small company that's an online company, they just assume the website and ship out from their website. You know, say Bulk Reef Supply was going to buy Aquarium Specialty. They wouldn't keep Aquarium Specialty open. They would just ship out of Bulk Reef Supply.
Well, they're even saying they're going to get rid of the brand, everything, because they make everything. They make stuff too. So they're talking about like complete phase out, shut down, done with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess they looked at it as a bad investment.
See, I am. Oh boy. See, I don't. You know what? I'm thinking that someone thinks like, hey, we'll just. In the business I've been through a lot of website collaborations, at business buying and website shutdown, and I just hope that it's where, like what Greg says, they think, you know, like instead of having Petco and Dr. Foster's like competing for paid search and keywords, why not ship out of, you know, one facility and have one brand and focus all your efforts and marketing and everything on that one brand? I will tell you that just my experience with Petco, like I'll never buy a fish from Petco. I don't know. That just gives me like a, if Live Aquaria does shut down, I would not buy any fish at all from Petco because it just let my skin scratch now even thinking about it. I'll just find somewhere else. The brand Live Aquaria and Divers Den just means something to me. And Petco doesn't do it for me. And that sale was just completed. What was it, last year? I think like that's, in my mind, like I think that's just too close to give up on it.
I think it was 2015, if I'm remembering correctly, but I'm not 100% on that. It was like 2015, 2016, somewhere in there.
Oh my gosh. All right, then. I'm sorry. I take it back then. I didn't realize it was so long.
I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong. I'm trying to remember, but I think it was 2015, but I could be 100% wrong.
It's
But I mean,
2014.
as far as I can tell, yeah.
It's 2014. Geez, I'm looking at the press release now. So it's actually longer than we thought.
I mean, the Live Aquaria brand, they might lump into their Petco brand. I don't know, but I mean, if they're getting rid of Dr. Foster and Smith, Live Aquaria probably isn't too far behind.
All right, guys, I gotta drop. Seymour, it's been a blast, but I gotta go.
All right, thank you for joining.
Bye, Alex. Bye, guys.
Yeah, I thought I had a handle on this, but this is confusing me a little bit now. But well, Jake Adams's article says Petco Live Aquaria will remain.
It's like anything else, though. They're going to assess it and determine whether or not they could roll it into something else and be just as profitable.
Well, they are a corporation, so they're really only beholden to their shareholders.
Shareholders, yeah. And I thought like Live Aquaria ships some stuff out of Wisconsin, don't they?
Live Aquaria ships out of Los Angeles, California.
Live Aquaria.
I thought
Live Aquaria and Dr. Foster and Smith's websites are kind of interlinked, so you might get stuff from Dr. Foster and Smith off the Live Aquaria website that gets shipped out of there.
I thought
typically only Diver's Den comes from the Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Was any of their coral and Diver's Den stuff was Rhinelander.
I thought I would buy stuff and I would see, like, when you add stuff to the cart, it tells you what facility it's in.
Yeah, but they don't really have a facility in Los Angeles. It's Quality Marine.
I see.
Which is probably one of the best wholesalers in the country. So
yeah, Quality Marine is top notch, the best.
Yeah, they are top notch. But I went in there years and years ago on a tour, and the quality. I mean, the Live Aquaria guys. I guess they work for Live Aquaria, but they have their own packing table and everything. But they're just pulling stuff out of the whole. They don't, whatever the stock list is on wholesale from Quality is what is available from Live Aquaria.
Okay. Now, as I were talking, Greg, go ahead. You finish up.
Oh, I was going to say Marine Depot a long, long time ago used to do Marine Depot Live. This is before their latest round of Marine Depot Live. But they were doing the same thing. They had a table. They had a packing table at Quality Marine as well.
Yeah,
so
I remember
it's a common thing. You hire some people here and they run it for you. If you're really, really old, you'd remember a place called Reefer Madness, which
wow, I remember that name.
Yeah, that was out of Walt Smith's facility, out of Pacific Aqua Farms.
All right, Greg. So I just clicked on a couple random things from Live Aquaria, but the last time I bought fish was 2 years ago, and I thought I remember I got 2 packages, and some said it came from. The thing is, it wouldn't give me free shipping unless I got like $200 worth of order from either California or Wisconsin. So I know up until maybe a year and a half ago, they were shipping from Wisconsin.
Well, they'll ship it if they have it. I mean, it's kind of a stock thing. If they didn't have it in LA, because the Diver's Den stuff, if it comes from Wisconsin, you're getting in my opinion, you're getting a healthier fish because they've been feeding it pellets and whatnot. Wholesalers don't really feed fish.
Okay.
So, and that's simply because they can be shipped out at any day, and the last thing they want it to do is to put it in the bag and it poop immediately. So
Okay.
usually they only feed the fish on the weekends, if they feed them at all.
Okay. All right.
Because they're not shipping then.
All right. Gotcha. Gotcha. All right. Yep. One thing Jake's article didn't say, it's about if this, yeah, it just said they're shutting it down. All right. Glad to hear. 200, they did give the number 250, 200 something. Yeah.
So that's why I have to wonder, is it that they're just shutting down the warehouse, getting rid of all of that staff because they can service it without those people? They can't do that with the live goods because they don't have that type of facility. I mean,
we'll
they have
see.
to build one, and they have Kevin Cohen over there running it, and he does a fantastic job. So that they'll probably keep him. I know everybody I've heard that's talked to him, he's seeming like there's no danger for Live Aquaria going anywhere. So
he's making videos. I think they've committed a lot to, that doesn't mean anything, because I've seen where right up until the day they decide to shut the business down, they just let it's just business as usual. So that doesn't mean anything.
Correct.
Yeah.
No, you're right there. But I would think, I mean, unless they were going to give him a heck of a severance package, he would leave before they actually closed him out. I mean, he can go to work anywhere. I mean, everybody would want him. So I don't know that he has that kind of commitment to stay there if they're just going to close up the place.
You know what? I'm looking at Kevin Cohen, and I swear, why does this, Greg? I'm looking at Kevin Cohen from Live Aquaria, and why do I feel like I've spoken to this guy a number of times without knowing who he is?
I don't know how likely that is. But
he wouldn't someone who would be at MACNA?
Yes.
So yeah, I think I spoke to this guy multiple times at MACNA.
Okay.
I'm looking at he was sitting and talking to the guy who does what's that guy who does Biota?
I don't know that company. I've heard of it, but I don't know.
Yeah, no. The guy who does Biota, where he sells you the everything you need to set up. I feel, or maybe the guy who sets up Biota just looks like Kevin Cohen. Why do I feel like I've spoken? I just looked at his picture. I just feel like I've spoken to this guy.
You probably have. I mean, when Live Aquaria would do MACNA booths, I mean, he was there. I mean, I don't know if they've been doing them lately because I haven't been to MACNA in quite some time, but and he spoke at MACNA several times, fairly regularly.
I think I've seen him before.
I mean, he's kind of, I mean, from the commercial side of aquaculture, he's been doing it for quite some time for them, for Live Aquaria.
Someone says they have never ordered a fish online. And someone else says, someone mentioned saltwater fish. And I have to say that, listen, I've bought stuff from saltwater fish before. I can't in good conscience, recommend them to anyone. Live Aquaria is way better. Way, way, way better. Live Aquaria gives you 2 weeks, which gives me enough time to do a tank transfer method and a slight quarantine. Also, I think saltwater fish gives you such a hard time for their warranty claims. They want a picture. They want this. I've I've, you know, when you have a new reef tank and you have specials and, you know, you kind of want like those, like, hey, let me buy those Discosoma mushrooms, red, brown, tan Discosoma mushrooms to kind of fill out the tank when green star polyps. Saltwater fish will have specials on those. But in terms of the fish coming in healthy and stuff like that, no comparison with live aquaria. None whatsoever.
Wow.
I don't even think they give like a 2-week warranty like what live aquaria does. I think it's like, yeah, I don't remember the specifics, though. I can't remember the one-to-one comparison now, but I will tell you, like, it's not even close. Not even close. If live aquaria has something you want and saltwaterfish.com has something you want, like, exhaust live aquaria's options first.
Yeah.
Before you go to.
Like I said, you know, I mean, anyone would be envious to be able to shop at Quality Marine, and I mean, I know a lot of people. I don't know anybody who can buy me stuff from Quality Marine. So, I mean, they are really hard to get in. The only reason I got in that one time was just to tour the facility because I was with the Marine Depot guys, and they were showing it to me. You know how they do their thing.
I know someone that used to work at ORA, and I think ORA has a facility in Florida, and
Yes.
ORA is a vendor. Like, they sell fish to saltwater fish.
Okay.
Guy said the
Okay.
facility wasn't in good condition. Like, I think one time after they complained, like, saltwater fish didn't even want them to like deliver the fish into the facility anymore.
Wow.
Yeah. I think I've bashed saltwater fish publicly enough, but yeah, if as someone who's a customer who's never gotten anything free from either of these companies, like, if you're looking for healthy and good customer service, there's no comparison between the two companies. Live Aquaria is it. I bought from Live Aquaria. I've also bought from Vivid, and I've bought from Saltwater Fish. Live Aquaria, Vivid, and then I think those are the 3 places I've bought fish from online.
Yeah, Vivid's a good store. Man,
Yeah.
is that a good store.
I bought a whole bunch of fish. I got a fox face instead of a one-spot fox face. And I called and I said, hey, you know, I don't know. Do they get about the same size? They apologized profusely. And the next day, they shipped a single one-spot fox face to me, which kind of surprised me because overnight shipping is expensive. I know they get a discount for volume, but to ship me one fish that they messed up on overnight.
It wasn't expensive to them.
Probably wasn't, but it's just still good.
In the end, it wasn't
customer
expensive
service
because they kept you as a customer.
Oh, definitely.
That's what it's all about. And unfortunately, I wish more companies would look at it that way. There's too many companies that would basically almost rather drive you away as that kind of like, well, I don't need a customer that complains like that. You know what I mean? And they really, I've actually heard them say it. So it's short-sighted, but there's a lot of these guys out there in the industry that they want to argue everything.
When I was working at my previous company, a division of Nelnet, we had these metrics that we would like, what does it cost to attract a new customer? And when you were doing marketing campaign, you just had these metrics that says it cost us X amount of dollars to attract a new customer, $1,000. But we're willing to pay $1,000 for a new customer because you're going to make $5,000-$6,000 off that on average off that customer over the next 4 to 5 years. So it's cheaper to refund a $100-$200 product because even if you had to give a customer his money back for something, it's still cheaper than going out and acquiring a new customer to replace that one you lost.
Yeah. I mean, frequenting the forums in the past, seen so many people complain about shipments. And, you look at it and you're like, okay, yeah, that company's totally in the wrong. They totally should take care of that guy. And they flat out refuse.
Someone's pinching pennies and looking at it and saying like, hey, I learned that lesson. Luckily, I learned that lesson pretty early on in my career when I was selling stuff on my own. And, I shipped something to someone and I just had a feeling that, hey, the lady wore it and wanted to return it, but not wanting to give that lady a refund, put my eBay account in jeopardy, which shut my home business down for like a couple of weeks while I got that, issue sorted out. So if I had just given that lady her $80 back, I could have just kept it moving.
Exactly. And that's and but not only that, the good review you could possibly get from doing something like that. It may not come immediately on your account, but someone may be talking about it on a forum or whatnot about getting something from them, and somebody will chime in and say, yeah, hey, when I had a problem, they took care of me. That's the kind of thing people want to hear. But this industry is strange sometimes. So
it's not just this industry.
That's all I can say.
It's not just this industry. Believe me, it's a thing. You'd be surprised how someone will argue for like a $5 item when it's not worth it.
Yeah.
I hear you. I see it. Yeah, saltwater. I'm looking through my old saltwater fish support requests and emails, and yeah. I remember I bought a pair of clownfish and they died, and they wanted the bodies, photos of the bodies, which I had. And they were arguing with me because one was bitten. I was like, yeah, it died. And then the cleanup crew started to clean them up overnight. So what did you expect?
Yep.
I think in the end, I had to threaten like a PayPal dispute in order to get my money back.
Yeah, I long time ago had a issue with My Reef Creations. And I was livid over the way they took care of it. He charged me a whole lot of money for this custom sump, and when I get the sump, it was a nightmare. The baffles were cut too short, so they heated up the side and just pressed it in so they touched. So it wasn't. Oh yeah. The Euro bracing around the top, one of them was cut too short. They just glued it in anyway, so it didn't meet up with the other one, with the other Euro brace. I mean, it was horrific, and I had heard all this great stuff about My Reef Creations. Finally, the guy basically is like, well, I had someone else build it for you because I was too busy.
Okay.
And I'm like, you didn't even look at it before it went out? I'm like, how is that, how is that my fault? I mean, we went back and forth for months over this, and finally he made me a replacement, for it, but it was nothing comparative to what I had originally ordered.
Did you get money back?
No.
Ooh.
However, Karma took care of him.
They're still selling sumps.
Yes, but the original owner, remember those TV shows, To Catch a Predator?
Oh.
Yeah, he got caught up in one of those.
What?
Yeah. So he went away, and
he literally went away.
Right. So the company that bought them or took over them is is first rate, and I have nothing negative to say. It is not the same company that it was when I had my negative experience. But I was so happy when he got caught.
Oh, man. He went away, guys. He went away.
I'll be back in just a couple minutes, though.
All right, no problem. They don't do well in a general LFS unless the hobbyists know they're benthic feeders. Oh, what are you talking about? Ooh, benthic feeders. I think saltwater fish has only a live on arrival guarantee. Jeez, is that really it? David Shu asked, do y'all think with the shutdown they are putting their money in other places? I think the shutdown affects corals and fish, not not Dr. Foster's and Smith. So I think, yeah, I think if it was the other way around, live aquaria shut, then we could probably look at the shutdown, but I don't think so. Oh, I hear Coral View is buying BRS. What? No, what? No. Coral View buying BRS. I don't think Coral View can afford to buy BRS. Yeah, I don't think Coral View can purchase BRS. Yeah. Not happening. Alex G, your aquarium is looking really amazing. Thank you. I'll say thank you for Alex. Thank you, Alex. All right. Oh, I think Alex just walked past. Yeah, I'm just hanging out here, 10:56 on a Thursday night. Everyone is at sleep.
What? I heard my name.
Oh, were you cleaning the skimmer?
Yeah, I saved you the horror of watching me clean it.
Oh, no. All right, no. Oh, you were cleaning the skimmer.
Yeah. It's all nice and pretty now.
All right. Give me a sec, Alex. Let me just go warm up some cold coffee. Be right back.
Everything is looking good tonight.
Why? It's a question. 20 minutes. Tyler, you go to bed. Tyler, you look like you were sleeping. No. Oh. All right, I am back, peeps. I am back. I am just grabbing some cheesy bread and some coffee.
Welcome back.
Thank you, sir. Hey, Dave, now that you're listening again, hey, Dave, I got some gold. I got some corals. Maybe I want to bank with you. So let's connect. See if we can make this happen. I got some other stuff to give to you, so let's see if we can make that happen pretty soon. Sorry, Alex, no corals for you. You wouldn't have room for them anyway.
Yeah, I know. It's getting full.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think I could only fit another 50 or so pieces in here.
You say about 50 more?
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
You know you got to give stuff space to grow, right?
Well, initially, you got to see what's going to grow, and it's happy, and then you move stuff around.
That green SPS with the purple tips, that doesn't look like you're going to move that anytime soon.
No, that was a little 1-inch frag I put there a little less than a year ago.
Yeah, that is fully encrusted.
Oh yeah, well. So you see the stick on the left, and then you see the purple and green, and kind of in the middle is another little piece of that's been encrusting and growing branches out. So, and then the purple bonsai, I probably let it grow in too many places, but it's just such a cool looking coral. So there's a couple colonies of it there. Then like there's a piece of it in the back there that like fell on the rock and it's growing, and I'm like, okay.
Looks good. What is that coral called? The green one with the purple tips. That's to the left of what you're looking at now.
This one?
Yeah.
The big colony?
Yes.
Green with purple tips. I don't know. I get this was like an unnamed one at my LFS, and it was one of the very first acros I put in here.
It is green with purple tips, right? Because you laughed.
Yeah. Kind of like purple or blue tips.
Okay, I see. I'm seeing purple, but okay, I'll go with blue too.
Yeah, it's kind of in the realm of both. It's depends on what kind of lighting it is.
All right. I'll go with purple. Looks good. Looks very nice, and that nice stylo colony. Somehow, I will tell you, my stylos in my tank. I think my stylo is my indicator coral. The minute my alkalinity goes off, or I change my lights or something, that thing recedes. But you leave it and give enough time. As long as algae doesn't grow over the skeleton, it grows back. But it because it's been receding and growing back over the course of like 2 years, it hasn't turned into a big colony. It's just...
Yeah, the one I'm really looking forward to is that green stylo right there. I saw it. I got it from Jason Fox, and it looks kind of like the one that BRS had in one of their tanks. I just thought it had a really cool contrast between that kind of dark base and bright green polyps. So, really been getting into these Favias, though. These things are nice.
Tina has a question. If I get an acro, like a green slimer at the Coral Expo, I know I can't coral dip it, right? How do I check it for pests?
You could dip a slimer.
Yeah, you can dip a slimer.
I think the only acros that I have been forewarned about dipping are like some of the smooth skin ones.
That's what I heard also. That's what basically Paul Williams had told me, that you can't dip the smooth skin ones. Those are the ones that are like, I think some people call them the deeper water acros.
Yeah,
that's true. I don't know anything about acros other than they require high flow, high light.
I mean, some of them don't need as high a light. From watching some of those guys like Jason Fox, I mean, he isn't killing them with light. I mean, I've actually been thinking about maybe toning down slightly, but I'm just kind of keeping everything where it is because I don't know. I got a bunch of them, like the The Tierra del Fuego there is encrusting, and it's starting to have a couple of offshoots. And then that little Millie next to it started taking off pretty good. So that green tenuous right there, that thing has sprouted out 3 new little branches. And then this little green spot in the middle was one I accidentally snapped off, and it's already encrusting the rock. And so
I think I remember Tidal Gardens. They're to them, high par is 150 to 200. It's not some crazy high number. And I know Paul Williams from Reef Community Worldwide, like he's growing SPS, and he has just 2 radions, the single puck radions over like a 4'75", and he's only running that thing at like 40%, 45%. So his par numbers for someone who's growing like acros and other sensitive SPS, he doesn't have like a crazy amount of light.
yeah, I mean, the one thing I am looking to do in this tank, and I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to, is I want to add more flow.
Yeah, I think from watching the BRS series and when I was in Florida, I think talking to the guys when I was in Florida at Worldwide Corals, they think the flow is probably more important than the light. Like, not saying you could throw any light over there, but as long as you have a decent enough reef tank light, they do so much with the flow. They think you get thicker branches, you get nutrients to the corals faster, they respirate faster. So in their estimation, like when they say light is like flow is better than light, they don't mean you can throw any old light on it. But if you can give SPS the flow they need, they'll grow faster.
A lot faster.
A lot faster. A lot. Oh, is that Greg?
Yep.
A lot faster, you said.
A whole lot faster.
Yeah.
It is possibly the most important thing. The downside is that if you start a tank off with massive flow, the corals will grow to choke off that flow. And your only option is to increase flow even further. The corals will grow to their environment, but they will do everything they can to choke off flow. So any particular area that you have high flow, they're going to grow towards it. Places that have low flow, they're not going to grow towards. But if you can change up your flow, that will help.
Interesting. Is that why I've seen Mike Paletta in some of the older videos? He's put like power heads on some weird positions, like almost on the front of his tank. Is he doing that because he wants them to grow towards the front?
No, he's doing that because the corals have choked off the existing flow that he had, and he needed to get it more flow. That's the problem with mature SPS tanks, and why there isn't a tremendous amount of them, is because you start to have die-off because they choke off the flow. You may have a massive amount of flow, but if you have a large mass of coral, like some of those tenuouses, I tell people, don't let your tenuous get any bigger than, a softball, because whenever you let it get big, and they grow fast, but whenever you let them get to like a volleyball size, the center is going to die, and it's just going to STN all the way out. It always happens.
And that's one of those things, like, so I have the 2 dryer 250s, and that's part of the reason that I'm starting to look, I'm 4 foot front to back, and I think I'm going to add, I'm going to take one of my Rossmont pumps off the controller and move it into the back of the reef tank and start doing like front to back flow in the SPS section, and just to give it even more randomized flow back there, because I see that same thing happening. I mean, that's why I left that. I didn't like make like a brick wall, and there's a lot of space in the front and the back and kind of on the side, because that was one of those things I was concerned about, is that if I make it like a wall, it's just they'll choke, everything's gonna choke out eventually, and then I won't be able to get back to do maintenance or add flow.
Yeah. I mean, when you see all those tanks at Worldwide Corals and you start counting up how much flow they have, you realize it's a really high number.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be one of my next DIY projects for my big tank. Is I might DIY a propeller pump.
Oh. Using what motor as the motor?
I think I'm gonna take like a big flow pump, like a 150-watt pump, and make a cage on it.
Okay.
And I mean, the tank's big enough. I don't care if there's like a big DC motor sitting in there, and I'm not even worried about randomizing it as much, because I kind of look at it as I could use something big like that to put like a big amount of flow, and then I could use controllable power heads to kind of mess around with it and screw with it and make, different little current eddies and such.
Right.
So,
well, there are options out there, but yeah, they are expensive when you're talking.
Yeah,
that much flow.
That's the only turnoff on those, is that getting into like a Panerai or one of the really big Tunsies. I mean, it's a.
To be honest with you, with the Tunsies, the only one I would recommend is doing a Stream 3.
Yeah, I was looking at those. I like their design on that.
I don't even know if they're going to continue making the 6255. It's from my dealings with Roger, he's always steered me away from them, simply because the tolerances are so tight; they need to be cleaned constantly.
Is that one of the 60? And I'm forgive me because I'm not good with their model numbers. Is that one of their commercial grades?
It's their big. Well, no, there is that one too. The one that they use as a boat propeller, but that thing is monstrous.
Yeah, I was looking at their small commercial grade one that does like 13 to 14,000 gallons per hour.
Yeah. I don't remember how much that one is.
It's like $1,500 or something. Okay. It's somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500, as I remember. And then their really big one is like 30,000 gallons per hour or something.
Another thing you could do, and forget about the propeller pump, and just use a traditional pump.
Yeah, I could do that.
What about the pump you have, Greg? The Tunsi pump that sits on the ground. 3. Yeah, those things come with a 5-year warranty.
Yeah, but that's only 4,000 gallons an hour. He needs a whole lot more than that.
Yeah,
but what I was going to say, if, for instance, if you put a MP60 in a tank and you put a Mag 12 in a tank, even though that Mag 12 is only 1,200 gallons per hour, it is going to cause massive chaos in your tank.
Yeah.
Comparative to, because it pulls water with it. So it's not just the measure of what's coming out of the nozzle. It's the velocity and what it does. It pulls it with it. I was talking to a friend of mine who knows someone who used to work for the Navy, knows a lot about propulsion, on the propulsion side. Mm-hmm. And he basically said, when it comes to an internal pump, the true measurement of how much water it does is the wattage. It doesn't matter what it says gallon per hour. because if it does less gallon per hour, it does more velocity if the wattage is the same.
Yeah, and you could really, and that's kind of one of those things I'd like to experiment with. Is just, try that out. Like, just take a pump and put a cage on it. Put the cage on it and just turn that sucker on and let it go. I mean,
yeah,
I already have in my, and this is like talking my 720 where the only sand in there is a tray. It's bare bottom, and like I could put some ridiculous flow in that tank, and I know the fish aren't going to care.
Right.
I mean, I got, let's see, 4, 12. I don't know, I got like 14,000 gallons per hour of flow, and everything's on at 100% in there now. But I mean, really, in the grand scheme of things, that's not that much in that size tank.
No.
And like, I don't have corals in there now, but like I was telling earlier, kind of my plan is that if I get SPS going pretty good in my reef tank, and I could keep them well managed, I can only go so high with flow in there because I have sand in the tank, and I'm not going to get rid of it. I like having sand in this tank, and with all my bioluminescent life in the sand, I'm not getting rid of it. So, but the 720, if it got a lighting upgrade and a flow upgrade, I don't really care that I have puffers, angels, and triggers. If I get some good sized acro frags going and I put in a whole bunch of them at the same time, even if stuff gets a little bit of nipping, it's probably going to be okay.
Right.
Plus, I'm thinking maybe by this spring, I'm probably going to add a frag tank onto the system.
Well, you could definitely do it pretty economically, adding the flow by doing, something like maybe some CJ synchro pumps, adding those, because the tank is long. It can handle it.
Does the CJ Synchro comes with any kind of mount to like mount it on the back or side?
I think they have suction cups.
All right.
I don't know how much you trust them.
Yeah, to be honest, like a real heavy pump like that, I would probably just get some rocks and kind of bury it, because my tank being 4 feet front to back, I could bury something like that with a few rocks. Well, then put a bunch of room around the cage so that I could do maintenance easy and fish aren't going to get like sucked into it.
If you would consider something like that, then just get Fluval SB6. Get a couple of those.
How many gallons per hour do those throw?
3,500.
Yeah, it's funny. Funny thing is, I'm thinking something like 6,000 gallons per hour.
Yes, but it's a power head doing 3,500 gallons per hour, so it's going to shoot it all the way across your tank and back.
Oh, you know what, Greg? I was cleaning my return pump.
It's not a propeller pump.
Oh no, but what I'm talking about though too, Greg, like the way you're talking about it, I'm talking about like getting like a DC pump, putting it in there with a good sized cage on it, and just letting that sucker rip wide open.
Even not many DC pumps do 6,000 gallons per hour.
There's quite a few that do a pretty close amount. Some of the bigger DC models.
Yeah, but I gotta be honest. Like an AC pump and a DC pump, you're gonna get more flow rate out of an AC pump.
You're gonna get more flow rate out of anything, whatever has the most wattage. That's where you're gonna get the most water movement.
And now you're gonna make me look, because I got one extra pump sitting here. I'm tempted on the. Oh, let's see. What's 15,000 liters per hour converted to gallons?
3,800 divided by 15,000. So that's about 3,500 or so. 3,600 maybe. I don't have my
15,000.
calculator out.
It's almost 4,000 gallons per hour.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got
39.62
What brand?
exactly.
What brand pump is that?
no, it's just a Jabo.
Oh, well, go ahead and put some J-Bos in there then.
Huh?
Not me, but you go ahead and put some J-Bos in there.
Yeah, they drive my
What's wrong with-
protein skimmer.
That's true, and I mean it's a flow pump, so it's a non-essential pump. So yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, it's not
I
my.
certainly wouldn't use it as a return pump, but yeah,
No, I got my hammerhead for that.
there you go.
And I have a spare on standby with a brand new seal in it, so.
Old reliable.
Hey, what's wrong with J-Bos, Greg? Come on.
Nothing.
Well, I mean,
No,
it's like.
I'm making
it's like-
fun of Greg.
Yeah.
No. There's a lot of people that use them. They have gotten a whole lot better. But there are other pumps that have a much longer history of working for decades. I just don't see a need.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at the J-Bos, and that's why I have a spare one, it's that, hey, I burn one out, I could have a couple spares sitting around and just ready to go. And since they're non-essential,
Right. And
I
the
could
other
live-
problem I have is the fact that they make a new version of it every year. That annoys the hell out of me.
But what? Okay. The power supply in those things go more than the pump. To be honest, like the pump portion of a Jabo can last so long, and it's usually the power supply or the controller or something or just a plug.
That's what it is
literally
now.
the plug. Oh yeah, that's
the
what
first two
goes.
generations. That's not what it was. Those pumps were locking up.
You know what? I sent one of our friends here, Reef Jeeves. I sent him some like a pump I wasn't using, and like I had a container of like broken Jabo pumps and power supplies. So I literally have a collection of broken power supplies and broken controller boxes, and then I have another container of like basically Jabo pumps that I've collected from people. It's not all me. That basically have the pump, but no controller, no power supply, no anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like I try to stick with a lot of the European brands when it comes to pumps. It's not saying that it's going to make my tank any better, but it makes me sleep better at night.
But I think I'm pretty honest with myself and know that if I can't expect something and I'm going to pay 1/5 of the price
Absolutely.
to be, perfect the same. I think sometimes we throw that out. Like, hey,
no, but you're reasonable. There are people out there who believe it's just as good. Period.
Yeah, no,
and they don't understand why someone like me would not run it.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I mean, I am completely fine with using it for non-essential equipment. A closed loop or a protein skimmer. I just won't trust it as a primary pump.
Hey, once I started traveling for work, what's the first thing I did? I got those suckers off my tanks.
Yeah.
Because I'm away from my tank for a week every month, so
yeah,
I took them off. That's why.
But see, what happened? What happened is a lot of these DC pumps came out, and people thought it was magic, and a lot of people looked at the high flow numbers, the low wattage, and thought they were saving energy. The reality is they're not. The AC pumps under head pressure reduce the wattage that they pull. DC pumps, if you have to turn it all the way up, it's drawing full power, even if it's just pumping a little bit of water.
Not only that, they don't last as long. Um, they don't last as long when you run and I don't care whether it's I've never used an Abyss, but doesn't matter if it's a it doesn't matter if it's a reef octopus or a Vectra or whatever. When you use them in high head pressure situations, they don't work. In fact, if you go to buy a like a Varios pump now, there is a warning on the sales page on Marine Depot and I don't know if it's on bulk resupply, not to be used in high head pressure situations.
Yeah. The Abyss
they don't
can be
last as
used in
long.
high head pressure.
Well, that's what it's made for.
Yeah.
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 And you know what? I've been meaning to ask Randy from BRS a question because in one of their live streams, they've mentioned that the Vectra, the reason they moved to the Abyss is because the Vectra kept failing. I really wanted to ask them is it because they think that the manifold is putting a lot of pressure on the pump? Because I had the same experience. Like,
Well, it could be. I think Ecotech made a big mistake in selling that pump with fittings, because those fittings aren't the fittings that they used when they tested the flow. So when they tested the flow, they were testing it in pipe that was 1.5 inch. But when you put those fittings on there, you drastically, I think, what is it, 1 inch output?
Yeah. In fact,
On an L1?
I think they got, I wouldn't say got caught, but I think on a forum, like people started complaining and say, hey, like now that we have flow meters and all this stuff, we're not seeing anything close to what you're recommending. And
it's not just them though. It's every pump. It's wattage. There is no magic in a pump. There's no magic pump. It either has the wattage to push the water or it doesn't. Nobody's figured out some magical way to move water with less energy, with a tremendous amount of less energy. You can move the motor closer to the stator. That'll give you higher efficiency, but then it needs to be cleaned more often.
Well, it's just like a reflow. I mean, that thing's just a beast.
Yeah.
Diacantha says a manifold plus a DC pump is equal to a Dejerone. So they do not well to head pressure, and that's true. I agree with like the manifold thing with a DC pump. Not only that, that's one thing. But if you're running something like I've seen people run a calcium reactor, other like things. In my experience with a manifold, if you're running anything that requires a specific flow rate, once you start adjusting the flow on one thing on a manifold, you have to rebalance the entire thing, and that's just annoying. And it just takes too much work. Like if you have a calcium reactor, you need to adjust the flow rate through it. Like I think you have to rebalance like a lot of things on the manifold itself. Or if you're running, what I found is that when I was running a reactor, and that reactor, like carbon reactor, got clogged, and the flow rate went down. When I had a GFO reactor on the same manifold, it just magically started getting more flow because one device was clogged, so everything else gets the spillover. So it was just ended up being just too much work.
I'll tell you, when Neptune released their was it FMK? Is that what it is? Their flow metering kit. On one of the forums, I was one of the first people to post, and I posted, "You're going to get a lot of people disappointed with their results."
You know what, Greg?
A lot of people who thought they had good flow found out that they didn't. And then they thought it was the problem of the product. Bottom line is, you get what you get. You thought it was good before, but now that you know it's not what you thought it was, all of a sudden now you have a problem. You don't have a problem.
I remember that post. I was running a Vectra M1 with my manifold on a Red Sea tank. And when I put the flow meters on, running it at 100, I got 300 gallons per hour to my tank and 100 gallons per hour to each device, like 2 other devices on the manifold, for a total of 400 gallons per hour. So whatever it was, head pressure, pump size, plumbing size, everything stole like 3/4 of the flow.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's just reality. I mean, especially when you start using small pump sizes, piping sizes, or anything that's going to add more head pressure to that pump, any pump is going to struggle unless it has a lot of watts. You look at a Iwaki 100. I think it's like almost 400 watts, but it only does 2,000 gallons per hour because it's pressure.
And the Walkies, man, you can't kill those things. You could probably drop them off a building.
Exactly. They're not less efficient like people say they are. No, they have a purpose. The Abyss A400 doesn't do a tremendous amount of water comparative to, what's it do? Somewhere around 6,000 gallons per hour, but it's 400 watts. It's because it does it with pressure.
You know what? We have a guy. There's a guy here who I think you've spoken to, Jeff Daily Reefing, and I think he has a shed, and he's tried so many pumps. And I think a few people on here, when they saw the price he paid for his Abyss, people got, I saw some not so nice comments, but he's pumping from a shed a few feet, like probably like I don't remember how many feet, from his shed to his house horizontally, and then up 8 or 9 feet to his overflow. And he said he tried every other pump, and some pumps couldn't even get there. Some pumps only offered a trickle. And until he added, I think, the Abyss, I forgot which model. He said I'm running it at like 30% and getting the flow I want. Yeah. Versus I was running these pumps and I wasn't getting anything, or basically a trickle.
Well, I can even tell you this. Terrence at Neptune Systems doesn't run a core.
You're gonna get yourself in some trouble, Greg.
And when he told me, hey, you should run a core on your new system, I said, I'll run a core when you run a core. He runs an Abyss.
Yeah. So, when you need that head pressure situation, yeah.
I saw. He's pumping his sump. His whole filtration system is under the house. It's not a basement, but it's a crawl space under the. It's more than a crawl space because you can stand up under there. He lives on a hill.
Mm-hmm.
So we went under the house, and it's like a slanted hill, and he's got sumps down there, and yeah, he's pumping up to the first floor because his tank's like right in the entryway of the house, and he needed that oomph to get the water there.
Yeah, I saw a demo once. Well, not a demo, but I think it was on Tanked, where they had like a really...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought that was a gimmick, but then I learned that, that's not really a gimmick.
And it's such a small pump, too. That's the other thing, the size of it.
Would you say what do you have, an A200 or A400?
I have an A200.
And would you say it's about the same size of the large Vectra?
Yes.
Huh.
It's probably
really?
Shorter. It's shorter, I think.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I would think it was
a little bit bigger than an M1.
I would think it would be bigger than that, Greg.
No, it's not that big. Hold on. trying to think of what I can give you for scale.
Well, I can just look at the dimensions now. I know the controller box.
I got a soda can. Hold on.
It's 6 by. Actually, okay. I'm looking at the dimensions here. Ooh. It's basically 6 by 6 by 7 by 6 by 7. Okay, it actually is smaller than a Vectra.
What pump is
Do you
this?
see it?
A Biz. Wait, no, I'm not looking. Okay. I see
Maybe
it.
I should turn it like this.
I see it.
See, it's not huge.
That thing needs some water, Greg.
And from the top down, it's
Yeah, that tank needs some water, Greg.
I got bulkheads now, so yeah, it'll get them soon. Jason from Vertex is coming over supposedly this weekend, so he wanted me to wait until he could come over. So
he's coming over to inspect the installation,
I guess.
I mean, we got a fill date of 2020, Greg?
I know.
No, because I'm getting livestock in February, so that's already planned.
So you need to have your quarantine systems up and running.
Pop and drop.
Oh.
You know what Rico says?
I don't.
No.
That's not a Rico. That's not a Rico thing.
Okay.
That is a. Do you remember? Alex, do you remember that annoying kid that's from Wisconsin?
Oh, I try to forget.
Yeah. We know where that's from. That's
wait, no. Now I'm trying to remember.
You met him at the aquatic experience in Chicago.
I had a long talk with Rich Ross, and he basically said the same thing, which is people are killing tanks by killing fish by quarantining them, by doing these tank transfer methods and things like that. He said it's more stressful for the fish. He's like, if the fish looks healthy, you're probably better off putting it in the tank. You'll probably have a higher success rate. I can't believe some of my friends.
Greg, you better start whispering, man.
Hey, look, I'm not saying to tell other people to do this. I'm telling you what I'm going to do.
Don't feel bad, Greg. Everything I get,
I don't feel bad.
I know you don't. I do the same thing most of the time.
I mean, it's a situation. The leading cause of death for a saltwater fish is stress. That starts the whole thing rolling. So if you can put it in the tank, and even if if you have something like Velvet or something like that, which, mind you, I've never experienced, so I don't know what to say. I don't even know how to deal with those kinds of things. That's a whole different issue. But that's to me, that's not an issue. That's a stress issue.
And I know you're on Reef to Reef, so you probably read some of what Paul B puts out there with just having a healthy system and feeding the right foods. That goes a long way.
Yeah. I mean, getting that fish comfortable in eating is first priority, and putting him in a separate environment can be helpful, but it just as much can be stressful. So
There's some fish too that just really can't. They're not good candidates for corn, like mandarins. I mean, like and not like a one that's eating frozen. Like, so I got a pair of spotted mandarins. It's like, how do you ideally put fish like that through quarantine and feed them live foods like that?
right.
It's just not ideal.
But see, whenever I buy fish personally, and I'm lucky in this manner, I send someone to get them for me from the wholesaler.
I do the same thing. My LFS, he makes a run to a local one where wherever he's getting them from, he gets good quality stuff.
Yeah.
And
but
he won't get it if it doesn't look good.
Right. The thing is, the wholesalers here. I mean, and I'm only speaking. I don't know what they do where you're at, but the wholesalers at LAX, every fish that comes in, they first go through a heavy duty round of medication, and then they're in the tanks in a copper. There's copper being run. In my opinion, they're fairly clean. So if you're getting them straight from like live aquaria, that's why I'm a big proponent of live aquaria, because I know Quality Marine's quarantine system is spot on. Because these guys can't afford to get disease in their systems.
No, because and that's the thing, is that if they were bringing in such diseased fish, they wouldn't be in business very long because nobody'd buy from them.
Not just that, it would kill thousands of fish, because each fish system can hold tens of thousands of fish. You know, I mean, I've been to SDC, and it's like, yeah, each row is a whole different system, but the reality is that's a lot of fish in that aisle. I mean, because that place is almost the size of Costco. You know?
Yeah, it does go a long way though to get stuff from a good wholesaler or LFS that knows what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, I know when I got because I just got some angels back in September. I got a blue face, a juvenile emperor, and a Navarcus all at the same time. And it's like, some of these fish, it's like, how do you're adding angels together, and I already had a Annularis angel and a couple of dwarf angels. You can't just, now I got to have like 3 quarantine tanks set up, because it's not ideal to house them together unless it's a massive quarantine tank.
Right.
And I know that there's going to be a little bit of, pecking order aggression at the beginning, but I'd rather get that over with and get them eating. And they are all fine.
Yeah, agreed. Another thing that I do is I use a lot of what you would call a dither fish, whether that be, there may be some chromis in my tank. There's always going to be lots of anthias. Those type of fish that are open water swimmers and just kind of hang out and relax out in the open, those fish reduce stress on the other fish.
Yep.
Yeah.
They don't feel threatened if those fish are out.
You know what? And that's why I think that's why I continue to try Anthias, because when I had Lyre-tail, and not that it was a good decision, but you're right. Like when you have like an Anthias or something, it brings all the other fish out.
Lyre-tail was a good decision. It was the Queen Anthias that was a bad decision.
Listen, man, I'm just getting it from all angles tonight. Hey, by the way, 2 out of 3 still going strong.
That's good, though. I'm telling you, that is really good.
They're only eating fish eggs and Calanus, so let's see what else?
Yeah.
But you can tell. It's amazing how you can tell how a fish, like, they only pick stuff out of the water column. I can't turn off flow and feed them, and it has to be the correct size. So when I'm feeding like big chunks of mysis to the other fish, they won't touch it at all. It needs to be a little particulate, and the flow needs to be. In fact, I moved one of the power heads to the front of the tank, and they'll sit there and wait for the water to bounce off the other side of the tank and come back to them, and that's when they pick stuff out of the water column.
Yeah. The crazy thing is the purple queen anthias is a large species of anthias, but it probably eats the smallest food of any of the anthias. It's amazing how, and then their mouth, when they're catching stuff out of the water column, their mouth opens so big. So you would have thought that maybe they can get bigger prey, but that's not true. Nope. They don't. Small.
Yeah. Fish eggs, the tiny ones, or calanas, or like the really low quality mysis shrimp that basically, like the stuff you get from Petland or PetSmart, where you put it in the water column and it's not like whole shrimp, it's like really tiny pieces. That's what they eat. So when I go and get the good mysis, which is the Piscine energetics mysis, which you can actually see whole mysis shrimp in it, they don't want that, too big. You got to get the cheap stuff that just disintegrates immediately when you put it in the water column.
If you want to try a pellet, the Reef Nutrition, the TDO, their dry food. They make some dry pellets, and they make them in a really small size. Those anthias may eat that.
I wonder if the anthias would also eat the Piscine energetics pellets, the real small ones.
Yeah, I don't know what size those are.
They're pretty tiny. Let me go. I got a bag of it here somewhere. They're pretty small. Hold on. For my computer.
Okay, BRS sells this stuff. You know what, Greg? I might try it.
Let's see. 1 millimeter.
The Piscine?
Yeah.
No, the TDO.
Yeah,
sorry.
Piscine.
Yeah, I love the TDO. There's, we were at one of the Reefapaloozas, and there was they had this angel fish in there, and they were like talking about it. They had just come in, and they were kind of worried because it was so expensive and it hadn't eaten. And the dude from Reef Nutrition came over with some of the TDO and put it in there, and it went right after it.
You think I should try the extra small, right?
Whatever the smallest one it is.
Yeah, they have.
I usually order directly from Reef Nutrition.
I think I'm gonna get. I have to place an order with BRS, so I'll just get one of the small, extra small, like one of the small packets, and see if that works. And if it does work, then I'll just get,
Which pellets are those?
Reef Nutrition TDO extra small. I just added it to my BRS shopping cart.
Yeah, that was when I used to have probably 20, 25 anthias in my tank, my last 225, and that was in an auto feeder, one of those little Eheim auto feeders. And basically, my thing was, if a fish didn't eat that, he wasn't going to be alive in my tank very long.
How small did you go with those?
I went the smallest size. So
like 75 to 250 nanometers?
That sounds right.
Whew. Well, it says extra small on it, so if you're looking at the Reef Nutrition TDO,
if you're on Reef Nutrition's website, they have several different sizes.
Yeah, I'm looking at TDO smallest. Chroma Boost. Let me.
Yep,
that's the one.
Yeah. Yep. So they have the type is A, B1, B2, C1, which is also called extra small.
Yeah.
So they got 3 sizes smaller than that.
Oh, wait, they have 3 sizes smaller than. Wait. Okay, now I
Whatever
gotta
the
go look again.
smallest one was, I don't
Yeah, that
recall.
small one's like I need a microscope to see that.
It's not a
Wait, you said
microscope. It's like it's smaller than grains of sugar sand,
Yeah,
or it's
they call
about
it
the size.
granule, but it's 75 to 250 nanometers. That's itty bitty.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
really?
itty bitty. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Okay. I guess I have to get it from Reef Nutrition because all Reef Nutrition. I'm looking at what Alex is looking at. Alex, all BRS has is that C1 extra small. They don't have the other ones you just mentioned.
Yeah, no, I use the smallest one.
I mean, I kind of see why they might not, just because I mean it's itty bitty, but I could see for something like Antheus that would probably be a really good food.
It's a great food. But you know what? My bigger fish ate it too. I mean, it's more work, but they ate it.
Oh, BRS sells the A. Oh, they got it. You know what? I'm getting it. They have the TDOA. They do have it. 75 to 250 UM, right?
Yep.
All right, they got it. Oh man, but they sell it in such small. For a 1 ounce pack, it's $9.
Yeah, but you don't have to feed very much.
I was gonna say something like that. I mean, even a tiny little bit of that is probably gonna go a long way.
Yeah. I used to have mine feed 4 times a day, my auto feeder.
Yeah, someone in the chat is saying, if it helps, I use B1 for paste for my Regals. I don't use TDO and add purple screens.
So a 3 ounce bag of TDO-A is $22.99 on Reef Nutrition site. So
yeah, that's the same as BRS. I think because I need to place an order with BRS like tomorrow, I am going to just get the Reef Nutrition. What were you saying, Greg?
I said just add it on.
Yeah, I'll just get it unless. Hang on, let me just see if I can get it on Amazon because I have Prime, so I could probably get it. But yeah, I was just gonna add it on to my BRS order, and then,
just thinking about it, that's one fish I haven't tried adding into my system yet is Antheus.
No, they don't have it. No Amazon. Amazon is trying to recommend this Neptune Systems food for me.
Personally, I don't think a reef is complete without Antheus. You go to any reef almost any reef in the world, there's gonna be Antheus everywhere.
Well,
yeah,
in the SPS, and that's so. To me, I think Antheus are needed in a reef.
Well, the thing is like I could easily keep them in my tank. I just haven't. I guess I haven't gotten around to saying I need to get a group of them.
Right.
I did experimenting with other things like getting a group of purple pseudochromas together.
Yeah, pseudochromas are nice too, but I have to have Antheus. That's one thing I have to have.
The other one I really am, I'm going to see maybe this spring on a look is I'd really like to get like a dozen or so of those blue eye cardinals, or I think they call them threadfin cardinals. They tend to shoal together a little more.
Yeah. So those are nice. I used to have the ones they called glass cardinals, and they had a blue eye also.
Yeah, I think they're kind of the same thing. And then when you look real close, they kind of have like some orange striping in them.
Yeah, that's them.
Yep. Yeah, I forgot what tank. It's a long time ago. The first time I saw them was in this really nice, big, like 500-gallon reef tank in a magazine or something. I was like, that's just cool because you don't see fish that kind of shoal together a little bit more in reef tanks as often, just because they're just not big enough to really trigger that behavior.
Right.
Yeah, long spine cardinals. I think that's right.
Long spine cardinals. I got distracted looking at light on VRS. Sorry.
Yep, those are the ones. I mean, they're not a real expensive fish or anything, and
Yeah, they're real cheap.
yeah.
I like them. I used to have some in the big tank also.
No, but I am starting to think now, like, I mean, I love, as much as I love Antheus, it's like I'd love to get like a nice square back pair, and then I don't know, it's so hard to pick on them. I mean, lyre tails and Bartletts usually do really well, but I've never messed around with a lot of the other species of them just because I've never had the. Well, back when I was kind of messing with them, I never really had like the foods available to easily feed them multiple times a day.
Right. So I'm about to
Hey,
feed the
you're giving me bad. You're getting me in trouble there, Greg.
Well, spend that
Hey,
money.
quick question, guys. If I see a really long bristleworm in my sump, should I take it out or just leave it?
It's in the sump.
If you're in the sump, I wouldn't worry about it.
All right. And I don't run filter stock. I think I
I
see
mean, you definitely know that it's a bristle worm and not like a bobbit worm or something.
a bobbit worm. Oh, what? What would I
Maybe
know?
maybe you shouldn't look that up.
Yeah, I wouldn't
know
look
what a
that one
bobbit.
up.
I know what a bobbit worm is, but that's not a bristle worm. That's a bristle worm.
Okay.
And I have them because I don't run filter socks, so their population tends to be a lot. I don't see them in the display, but they're definitely in the snow.
Yeah, I never really worry about fireworms. I mean, I got all kinds of little wormies in my tank. Every time I look at stuff through the microscope, I see them all over the place. So something's eating them.
This one is like about 8 inches, anywhere from 6 to 8 inches. But I'll leave him. If anything happens, I'm blaming you too.
I'll let you borrow a mantis for a while.
Oh no, thanks. I had one. I gave it to Dave.
Come on, my spear mantis. She just wants to say hello to your fish. Honest.
I'm good.
And look at those eyes in that picture. I mean, does she look like she could hurt anything?
No thanks. I'm good. What did I? I'm just trying to see if I did any. I turned my UV sterilizer. I think I was telling Alex this earlier. I turned my UV sterilizer off, and my all of a sudden my salinity probe started reading properly. So I definitely think I was getting interference from that.
That would be really interesting if it is making that big of a difference on it.
Well, we're talking it was reading 1 to reading 34.8. So.
Oh, wow, that's a.
I never got my salinity probe to work properly.
I don't. Oh, now I don't feel so bad because I never really got mine to calibrate anywhere either on the Apex, and I just gave up and said it is what it is.
No, I never got mine to work properly. The only way I got mine to work properly was when I had a salinity, the PM, what is it, 2, PM3 module, and basically I put it over the sump, and it went straight from the module to the sump, and I basically zip tied the wire. So basically, you can't allow any other wire to come close to the salinity probe's wire at all. In my instance, that's when I got it to work properly. but I don't know. I really don't know of anyone. There's only one guy, and Greg's probably gonna. There's only one guy I've spoken to who swears by the salinity probe, Sleeve, who says it's accurate and it's always been accurate for him. But I don't know anyone who runs that probe and that thing works properly for them.
I mean,
He's my friend.
Huh?
Sleep is my friend.
Okay. All right. He swears by it and says it works. On the forums, I've asked him. I've seen discussions. I even asked him in person and back, and I never got it to work.
I mean, mine's running, but I mean, I guess like I just never look at it because I just get out the refractometer and use that periodically. But I mean, it kind of spikes up and down, and I guess that kind of makes sense with auto top off. Your salinity is going to shift a little bit.
You know what? That's what I was saying. Like, hey, I wouldn't trust it as an absolute, but I would use it to look at trends. But I just found that the time I spend controlling and worrying about it, just put a few drops on my Milwaukee and just take the salinity every weekend. Like, that was just so much easier than worrying about the salinity probe. And the fact that I turned the UV off and it's working, I don't have any Apex programming set up to take advantage of it or anything. It's just, I was just amused that say, hey, it's working now, and just kept it moving.
I got one of those Coral View salinity pens. I like those. But I don't know about a meter.
Did you get any readings in the tank, or you had to take water out the tank and then test it?
No, reading in the tank.
I got my good old refractometer and some calibration fluid, and then I got a floater hydrometer as well. That's like, it's not a temp and salinity. It's just strictly salinity. So it's kind of my backup.
Ale is asking, is it hard to sex saltwater fish?
It depends on the species. I'm seeing a lot, like I saw a couple mention that a lot of fish could kind of be hermaphrodites, or they could change sex, and that's very true depending on the species and its age.
Yeah, a lot of your wrasses, anthias, clownfish, of course. A lot of them, if they're small, they're males. If they're large, they're females typically. But, well, not wrasses. Wrasses, actually, it's the opposite. Females they start off as females and then they turn.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of I know on the forums, I see a lot of people that are really experienced, or, people that really into the wrasses. They go, well, you can get males and females together and have a group, but a lot of the times they just turn all male.
A lot of times, I tell people just buy all females. Don't even buy males.
Why not? Isn't the males are the ones that usually flash, and usually get.
Correct, but your largest one, if you buy a couple, your largest one's always going to turn male.
Yeah.
Okay.
It depends on the wrasse too, because like flasher wrasses, unless it's at like a LFS, and even a lot of wholesalers, they're selling the males, and the females, sometimes they'll sell like a trio or a small harem of them, but a lot of times those you'll just see males, but a good chunk of the other wrasses, you could see male and female pairs they're putting up all the time.
Right.
I mean, like the mandarins I got what I believe to be a male and female, and you could tell from the dorsal spine on them. I'm not sure if they're capable of changing back and forth, but they didn't exactly like each other for the first week or so I had them, but now they're hanging out just fine.
I had the guy at the store sex them for me, so.
Yeah, that was one of my really wanted to have was a pair of spotted mandarins again. I had a pair once before a long time ago, and it was a lot of fun to watch them.
All right, guys. It is midnight Eastern.
No
I
problem.
think we've been going for since 8:30 Eastern.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for joining. Discussion was great as usual. I'm not quite sure what the schedule is going forward because I am traveling on the 24th and I need to take I think I'm going to be having dinner with my client that night. So I will keep you guys posted, on what's going to happen with a stream on the 24th. Or maybe I'll just do Wednesday or Thursday. I'll figure. Oh, Rip just joined as soon as we were leaving. But
Rip, is
yeah,
that the
I'll
guy
keep
from
you.
Aussie?
Yeah. No, he is in Philippines. The Philippines. Yeah, I will let you guys know about the live stream on the 24th. Hey, no problem. Thank you guys for joining. It's always fun. It's always fun.
Yes, take care of.
Hey, Rip, you joined as we were shutting down, Rip. All right. By the way, Greg, with that thing, never got an answer, man.
Yeah, I just joined.
Yeah, Rip, I think we were shutting down. About the pump and the wattage thing.
Yep,
of course not.
I just joined at the end because you said you had some news for me, right?
Yes. All right.
So maybe afterwards.
All right. Okay. All right, guys.
Are we off air?
Well, we are. Good night, everyone.